3000.
What is doing? My name is Maloney. This is the 3000 podcast. I am joined today by a rapper, a writer.
A little bit, man. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, not so much these days, but yeah.
Predominantly a rapper. Joe Snow, thanks for coming in, man.
Hey, Save, thanks for having us. Yeah, it's cool to come check out the spot.
Yeah, man. Yeah. People often come here and they're like, oh, it was bigger than I thought. It was smaller than I thought.
No, it's bigger. It's bigger than I thought it was. Because I suppose you only ever see like this little angle here, you know what I mean? I mean, like, kind of see over.
I've got some plans to kind of show the rest of the space, set up the turntables and do some other things. So make some more use of the space. That's down the track. But anyway, man, it's not about the studio. It's about you. So we're going to talk about your journey. Obviously, you weren't born in Melbourne, but you've been here for quite a while. Yeah, and I'm guessing you grew up in Leeds. Is that the start of the Joe Snow story?
Yeah. I was born in Leeds back in '87. And then, man, I lived there until 27. Moved out here just for my 27th birthday. Yeah. Down to Melbourne, not too long after that.
So growing up in Leeds, is hip-hop... Is it prominent?
Not comparatively. I mean, it's there is a good scene there. But again, it's it's very small. I mean, just Leeds compared to Melbourne is very small. You know what I mean? It's
what kind of population are we talking?
I couldn't even hazard to guess. It's the fourth biggest city in the UK, so it's not small. It's just Melbourne's really big, isn't it?
Million people at least.
Yeah. It's not tiny, you know, but it's But yeah, comparatively, the scene out here, and just the longevity of the scene out here, how long hip hop's been going in Melbourne for compared to Leeds. It's got a lot shorter history, I think.
Mm-hmm. But, so where does the hip hop culture? How do you find it there, man?
Yeah, man. I mean, it was always welcoming open arms with us. It was just something that I just kind of got into from young, really, really early on. Was just always into rapping and painting, and and then it was kind of I don't know, man. It was a mad time kind of growing up. I suppose a lot of it because the internet wasn't big and there wasn't you have to work your way out around it all. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of and I feel like this generation's kind of. They've been robbed of that, you know. It's kind of
or they're lucky, one or the other.
Yeah. I mean, I really found enjoyment in that, you know what I mean? I don't know, growing up and being a kid and not knowing how to do this and just having to work it out yourself. I don't know, maybe you'd see someone painting certain spots or someone doing tags in certain styles and not knowing how they've managed to do that and having to be right, it's just trial and error until we do. And then as soon as you do, it opens up a whole new window and you feel it's and it can take you months to work it out or whatever. And I think these days you just go on YouTube, you know what I mean? And but then at the same time, it's then it means that people have to think twice as much forward because they have to be innovative in a time when it's man.
So when you're growing up, say we're talking, your teenage years, you're it's late 90s, early 2000s sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then you're seeing what tags on buses, on trains, on walls. Where are you seeing this stuff to figure out you want to be a part of it?
Yeah, I mean, probably one of my first influences into actual tagging and this graffiti, outside of just what you'd read about or whatever, will have been a writer called Insa, who's now quite big in the street art world. He was originally from Leeds, and he just did a tag on my flats basically. And I remember seeing his name then reappear all over.
How do you spell it?
INSA.
INSA.
And he was part of a crew called AAA. And then I remember seeing this other writer called Gamio who was writing AAA as well. So I'll have been young there. That'll be probably around the turn of a century maybe. And man, and I think from then it was kind of me and my group of 6 mates or whatever, we were oh, that's a thing that you do, you know what I mean? So from then we were all just having pens and had our own little tags and and again it was very slow progression. I work with young 12, 13-year-olds these days for my work and they're painting burners, you know what I mean? Straight away, they just get it, you know, they get the whole, this is how you do letterform, this is how you do, whereas it wasn't like that for us, you know, no one was there to teach, you know, and was you just kind of had to imitate to an extent, but then you couldn't copy, you know, because there's only X amount of writers in the whole scene, so you couldn't it was so you had to have your own style, but then kind of work out everything for yourself, really, man. So it yeah. So it was a slow progression, but it was fun, man. It was like, yeah, definitely.
So you're saying on your flats you start to see these guys' tags, you start to see them around, and then you think, okay, well, I want to get involved in this. I'm going to get some markers.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think it was more like just, yeah, this is what people are doing. Like I remember like a couple of the older lads as well that were like into skateboarding or whatever, and they just started doing it as well. So it was like, yeah, you'd be skating and then people would be doing it, and like, you know, it just kind of came with the territory of like that like subculture of like, you know what I mean, like skating, getting high, drawing on things, you know, like it's kind of like that's what teenagers in Leeds did a lot. So it's like, and just kind of just found a passion for it really early on. And
is there, besides the tags are you seeing sort of like full pieces, track sides, that sort of thing?
Yeah,
what's the train system like?
Yeah, like it's more like a West Yorkshire train system. Like there's a couple of stops. Like the train goes straight from Leeds city centre to Burley out to Horsforth, and that's it. Then you're out of Leeds more or less. So it's like it's not like here where, you know what I mean, there's like, you know, each suburb has its own train station. There's only like I don't know, a handful of stations in. Like so it's like it was much more built around the buses and the bus lines, and like a lot of the writers were all going to the same high schools, which were all up on like the same roads, and there was like, I don't know, like these three main roads that kind of ran like out of that side of a city. So it was kind of like that was like where people were getting up, and like insides of buses were really big, and like it was much more based around. I mean, also I suppose from the age of 13, 14, that's really when the CCTV like really started taking off. Like there was a big like push on like stop and search checks on young people. Like you'd be getting stopped like 6 or 7 times a day, and CCTV would be going up everywhere, and like following you like literally everywhere, like ballpoint cameras that just like zoom in on you and follow you because you're a young teenager with their head up or whatever. Yeah. So it was kind of
but like, they were more worried about like knife crime and gang crime than like graffiti.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. It was this thing called target crime, and yeah, it was so it was a I don't know, ASBO use, like kind of like ASBOs would be where you'd be like, you're not allowed to be in this area or hang around with these people, and it was kind of like that was like usually what was put on young people for when they were doing crime. There was a lot of like violent crime in Leeds growing up. So yeah, it was based around that, and that's what like, I mean, it's the same old story, isn't it? The newspapers make a big deal out of something, and then the police go, all right, cool, that's what everyone has to be talking about now. So, and the newspapers were going in on young people because of like X amount of like, I mean, it was rough. I'm not gonna lie, it was a rough time to grow up, man. I think a lot of major cities in the UK, especially around that time, were hard to grow up in. But yeah, it was like then the police used that as they built this thing called target crime. And then it was basically target teenagers. And yeah, like I say, like you would get stopped 6, 7 times a day. Yep. And it was more about meeting arrest rates. So it was like, if we stop you 6 or 7 times a day, then you will slip up every now and again, and then we can tick one box off. So minor crimes like graffiti, drug possession, like things that like, that a lot of teenagers will just do because it's like a rite of passage thing that's not really like, but they add to the statistics that made the whole thing. Like they have this big campaign about like target crime policing that works because they were showing the arrest rate was going up. So it was more, even though it probably started trying to prevent these big horrible like crimes of like, you know, like yeah, ABH, GBH, like big like gang stuff, or like phone robbery was really big back then. You know, like it was like, there was a lot of serious crimes that they were probably trying to prevent, but to get those arrest rates up, they're really focused on things like, yeah. And
sounds like a numbers game though.
Yeah, hard. And graffiti was really, really hit by it. Like it's kind of mad explaining to like writers coming up in the scene now. It was like, oh no, if you did like 3 tags, you could get your door kicked off the next day. It'd just be like, oh yeah, we saw you on this camera. We know it's you. You know what I mean? Because you've been arrested for X amount of times before, and you'd literally get your house raided for tagging the Arndale Centre like 3 or 4 times, man. It was like, it was a really it was a crazy time to be a writer. So going back to the point of like the question basically of like, was there a lot of pieces and stuff? It was a lot more chrome and black and ink tags. You know, it was like things that could get done quickly, things that you could get done and leave really quickly. So like these full color pieces, you'd see a bit on the train tracks and like but it was more like again, there wasn't legal walls. There was only a couple of walls that you could do full colorfuls on. So yeah, it was more like that was saved for like drainways, and I remember again around like my mid-teens, like people started painting the insides of warehouses, and like, you know, so it was like they were kind of like colourfuls were saved for those places, and then a lot of the actual scene that you'd see would be how quick can you do something really big in chroma black? You know, it was very chroma black, and Inferno ink would be the key.
And that's what you call them, colourfuls, like colour burners were colourfuls, like that's.
Colourful would be just anything that had like 2 or 3 more colours in.
It's crazy. Like here, no one's usually using that term.
I suppose. There's a load of ones like that. Like we call it a double outline. So and it's a band out here, isn't it, where you go around your thing. Had it called a force field as well. That's quite a job. But my terminology is all a bit
different. And so I'm guessing they're like the paint and that sort of thing. You're using like automotive paint. There's not gonna is there purpose shops or people racking paint? I'm guessing the CCTV makes it pretty hard.
I mean, like there was a couple of skate shops that sold paint. There was Wisdom and Anti, and they were both around McCorn Exchange. And McCorn Exchange had a real youth culture back then. It was like where all the goths hung out and all the punks. And all the chavas, so chavas are like English eshays. And that's where you go, like, you know, I mean, if you needed someone to buy you some cigs from a shop or like, you know what I mean? So it was like, had a real youth culture around it. So that's where the skate spots were and the skate shops, and they'd sell paint. But a lot of the time, like some of them were cool and they'd hook it up and they'd sell it to us. Sometimes they wouldn't, they had to kind of know you. So it depended who was working on the day. There was a dude in Halifax who we used to, so we'd take day trips out to Halifax, and he was just like selling it out of the boot of his paint, like run a thing called the layup. And you just ring him up and be like, we want this order. And then just go meet him in Halifax. And so we'd get, it was mainly Belton. So there was access to good paint. So I'll just go into workshops and just seeing what you can leave.
Could
with,
imagine that would happen to me.
Well, it was just really hard to get hold of, you know. So it's like,
And there's no forgive me if I'm wrong, but there's no big like Bunnings warehouses and that sort of thing. Is there small hardware shops and stuff like that?
Yeah, we had Wilco's. Wilco's is probably our equivalent, which is nowhere near the size of Bunnings. But I mean, you could definitely get your hands on car paint and stuff. And there was like pound shop where you could get pound tins from, or the market would sell shit paint for expensive prices. But it was kind of like
that's a marketing angle. Shit paint for expensive prices.
Exactly. So it was kind of you tried to get your hands on and like it was mainly Spanish Montana and Belton were kind of the brands that I remember a lot of people using in Leeds growing up.
Yeah, I think around that time those brands were big all over the place. That was kind of where paint went from being from stuff that people would acquire for whatever to then purpose-made graffiti paint.
So I think like I was kind of born. Well, I was not born. I was just like getting into the scene just when that was taking over. So again, like the early 2000s. Yep. And it was kind of like this is the paint you want to be using if you're doing this kind of this art form, you know.
So when you talk about the different groups of youths, you said the goths. What are the chavas?
Yeah, chavs. The chavs or a chava, you know.
Chava, the goths. You're more in the skating hip hop scene.
To start with, probably like a big crossover point, really. Like, I mean, I don't know. How do you identify yourself? I think yes.
But people put brands like labels on. Yeah. Especially growing up.
Yeah, I mean, like towards like the start of my teens, later in my teens, I definitely was probably more of a little chava when you start getting into like a bit more trouble here and there. My fashion probably changed a bit to more like the sports wearing my tracksuits rather than baggy clothing. I don't know. Probably like towards my later teens was where me more chava side came out and I started getting into a bit more trouble in life.
And what about and the hip hop music is prominent at this stage?
No.
So what are people listening to? Obviously, the goths are listening to the goth music.
Yeah, so I think the main difference is like I say, chavas would be the equivalent to eshays out here, and out here like eshay culture is very tied to graffiti and hip hop, whereas back home chava culture is more tied to like bassline and like garage and like maybe a bit of house music or whatever. Like it's much more like so it's kind of there wasn't that crossover of like there's baseline MCs and stuff, but it's a completely different style to like a hip hop MC. Yeah. Like I think that is a big difference. Like back home, I think that everybody, like rappers, kind of like were in their own lane. You know what I mean? Like there was some grime rappers that made hip hop as well, and like maybe a few hip hop artists that made grime rap, but you'd predominantly be a grime rapper or a hip hop rapper or a drum and bass MC or a garage MC that did like some bassline stuff. You know, it was kind of like that was your forte, and you could probably like switch over every now and again, but it wasn't like kind of these days like everyone's kind of like just like they'll have a go at everything, you know what I mean? Which is like it's cool, man. I like it, but it was very much like I suppose it was tied to like kind of what background you were from and what like what was predominantly the music that your friends were listening to around you, you know?
Yeah, so I'm guessing UK hip hop is there, but it's not prominent. Early 2000s, it starts to become more popular.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, so I'd suppose like UK hip hop would be like around that age. Yeah, it's still very underground, you know. I'm talking UK hip hop in the era of like £10 Bag, like, you know, Kalashnikov, Jest, Chester P, like that kind of era of UK hip hop. And then I think like grime was popping, you know what I mean? Like you had like Dizzy Rascal like around that same time, who's probably like becoming one of the first like very, very commercially viable artists from doing a really underground sound music.
Yeah, I think he won the Mercury Prize or something like that.
Yeah, he's won everything. Like,
but I think for Boy in the Corner or whatever first one, was that the first one? I don't know.
Yeah, hard. He was like 17 or something when he made that, man. It's mad. And it's
from someone who's on the other side of the world, that's my introduction to it. And I know the grime had been bubbling around, but that was really what propelled it to...
Yeah. And I think like as well, like being young, being a teenager, it's kind of like that was probably... I don't know. I mean, everyone remembers history differently, but that was probably the first time that we saw something from the underground, like that was talking a life that we knew and understood. You know what I mean? That like teenagers from major cities, like you'd resonate with what this guy was talking about because you were going through it all the time. Whereas like before that, it was probably the boy band era and like Spice Girls and like all of it. You know what I mean? Like that was what was being pushed on you. So we hadn't actually seen anything hit the charts and like become like that popular. Like to that level before, man. So that was really game changing. So grime like slowly started becoming like the predominant like form of rap music in the UK, especially down south. You know, like down in London, which is where that's what people class as the UK. You know, like that's what like when people talk about the scene and that they're usually just specifically talking about.
Well,
about London.
What about when Mike Skinner and the Streets come out, man? That's going to be a change, like a game changer.
Yeah, completely. I suppose that was more like that was like definitely more like garage influenced, you know, on the beats and then kind of spoken word poetry, MCing, you know, like man, there's definitely been a lot. This is, you know, like the change starts happening there. I think, and it's kind of like. And I suppose it is also like the birth of the internet. Like it's where like our generation are now using the internet. So it's like when things like YouTube come along a little bit later, it's like, you're not force-fed music anymore. Like you had to get your music from like the radio before, you know what I mean? It was kind of like what was on the radio and the TV was going to be the popular music because that's what the average person who's into music but isn't into music, you know, they're not going to go out and find their own music. They're just like, I'll listen. Oh, I like that.
I'll
listen to
what
it more.
You give me.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas now you're in a place where it's like, where like YouTube's coming along and people are choosing what they want to listen to, innit? So it's like then the record labels and the powers that be have to start listening to that and going like, oh shit, like this subgenre over here is kind of
making
popping.
their own waves.
Yeah, exactly. Like we have to pay attention to this, you know what I mean?
Was there pirate radio in Leeds?
Yeah, there was, again, we're jumping a little bit, but all my boys were part of a pirate radio station called Frequency FM, which was 88.1. It was, man. I mean, like, that was so dope. That was, like, around the age of, like, 18, 19, and it was a guy called Shock who, like, set it all up and, like, you know, like, had, like, like, all the... I mean, however you do it, you know, like I'm not.
Even to this day, it confuses me how you would do it.
Yeah, man. I mean, obviously, Wiz ran us through a little bit. Like, he's like, oh yeah, you just put this thing really high or whatever, and I'm like, I still have no idea how like any of it works, and like obviously, but yeah. So basically, this guy's Shock. He kind of set it up, and then we're like 18, 19, so a lot of my boys are at that like because I was in a group of like young local lads that were kind of like just all musicians or artists or like very much like this subculture of like going raving and like partying heavily and you know just kind of like just kind of living for like the weekend and for making music or creating, you know, like still to this day a lot of them are really active in doing that, and they were all so like a lot of the DJs and stuff all kind of like picked up onto Frequency, so it was dope. It was like Friday night and just all your boys would be playing and like, you know, I mean, giving you shout outs on a pirate show, and it was sick, man. It was a real good time.
So let's dive into this sort of collective. So in high school, you put together, you guys formed this little unofficial sort of group where you're all doing music and shit.
So I was in a crew called, I am in a crew called Defenders of Style. Like, yeah, we're still doing bits to this day. Like, we dropped something, a few months back. Talks of doing some more stuff. So yeah, man, that's like my original crew. You know, that's like my best mates. You know what I mean? Like people that I've been brought up with since like 12, 13. So that's
all dudes from Leeds.
Yeah. So that's Jack Dans who did the beat that
Yep.
Yeah. And but we just recorded over. My boy Priest, Disgust, and then Surplus was a DJ, but he ran off to join the circus. So,
really?
No, he was a sound engineer in it, and he got off. I think one of his jobs was with a circus, but yeah, he kind of got offered like to fly around Europe doing sound engineer for like ballet teams and like, you know what I mean, just like all these like big production things. So yeah, obviously he kind of was like, I can stay in Hyde Park making hip hop for like, you know, for like 150 people to do gigs or whatever. Yeah, I can go around Europe. So I think he's still doing that to this day. Yeah. But yeah, that was kind of that was the original group of people that I started making music with, and still to this day do. You know, like me and Jack have a project in the works, and we dropped Death Sentence 2 years ago. So we're gonna do a follow up to that.
So in the early years when you realize, all right, we're all creative, we're doing our own thing. You're just rapping, right? Is that what what you're bringing to the table? You playing any instruments? You doing production?
I was brought up playing instruments. Like my mum was very musical. She like brought me up like playing piano and and then guitar and bass guitar.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, it was just always like that was how we related. That was like that was the thing that we did together. Like as when I was a kid and that, you know what I mean? Like we'd make a song on the piano or something like that. So yeah, she always brought me up like as music is an incredibly important part of life. Kind of as my teenage years went on, I kind of fell out of the idea of doing instrument stuff and kind of got more into the vocal side of things and wanted to rap. I'd later find out, I'd meet my dad a lot later on, about 16, 17, and I find out that he was a poet, which was kind of an interesting one. Nah, I didn't know.
You hadn't met him at all at this stage?
No, I hadn't met him before, so yeah.
And your mum just said, you'll meet your dad one day or whatever.
Yeah. It was like I was always going to find out at some point, but I meet him at 16, 17, and it turns out that he's a poet, and then my big brother, who's 10 years older than me, was in bands and kind of very similar minded, just 10 years on. So it was that kind of
same dad.
Yeah. Same dad, different mums. So yeah, it was kind of that nature nurture arguments always had because I was brought up very musically, and that's why I always thought that's why I do it. But then the poetry side, my mum was never into writing poetry or rapping or anything, you know. So it's kind of interesting to see that coming
from an MC point of view. You've got poetry, you've got music. That's a perfect blend.
Yeah, completely. Even more it's I wouldn't I was definitely already writing and rapping at this point, so it's kind of it's interesting.
Did you rap
that
for
I was.
Your dad?
Oh nah. I don't know. I've always kept my worlds differently. I mean, I'm pretty sure he tunes into a lot of the stuff. It's definitely he always he'd hit me up about things, especially in my 20s when I'm writing just crazy daft lyrics, you know what I mean? Because you don't have any censor on you back then, do you? You know, you don't think anyone could listen to this. So yeah, man. But yeah. So you definitely listen to a few things here and there. I've started writing a little bit of poetry here and there, but I think I just write for me, you know. And then
rap
so I'll
is
hit him
poetry
up.
though.
Yeah. But I'm kind of I suppose it's finding a way to write without following the rules of rapping, because my fingers have always been structured into 8/16s, you know what I mean? These multis have to rhyme here, and if I'm going to say something here, it has, it's very the patterns that I'd use whilst writing bars don't have to be that in poetry, you know what I mean? So kind of trying to work out how to break those, you know, and and we'll have conversations about that, or how to write something. I had to write something for my grandma's funeral because I couldn't make it. And someone else has to read it, you know what I mean? So then, how do I write something for someone else to read? What are the rules? Because I write when I write bars, I'll put a comma here for a short break, a full stop for a long break, like 2 dots to show I've hit 4 bars, so I don't have to bother counting it up every time I try to hit. You know, so there's little codes that I'll give myself through the grammar when I'm writing. Mm-hmm. But is that the same when you're writing something with someone else to read, and I'm still following these rules that I write for rapping? It's going to make complete different sense, you know. So it's so I'll have conversations with him about that stuff, and he'll kind of steer me into the give me advice on those types of things. So yeah, it's good.
I'm guessing there's no hard and fast rules with that stuff, though. It is whatever works for you. I'm sure people write. Some people will send me lyrics that they've written bars for this, and it's all structured differently, but to them it makes fucking sense.
Yeah, it's really interesting seeing on how different people write. my boy Lego kind of writes in circles, like literally holds a piece of paper and turns it around.
So when it gets to there, that's probably 8 bars or something.
No, not like specific, just like kind of like chunks of thoughts, like because he works very multisyllabic, so he has like anything that rhymes with this pattern over here and this pattern's over here, and then he's got like this pattern over here, and then like he'll like kind of interlink them all. It's crazy, like watching how he writes. Like it makes but then everyone's got their own different way of doing it. I suppose notes section kind of changed that because now everybody just writes on notes.
It has to be like that,
Well, and it's like it's just so easy, you know what I mean? Like you're driving along and like you think of a punchline or whatever, and you just remember that bar, you know what I mean? Remember that one bar or whatever, and then you just type it in your notes, and then you've got like a nice little punchline that you can throw in something for later. Yeah. So it's like it's definitely it definitely changed the way that I write. It doesn't have to all be done in one sitting.
So when you were first writing, so you started writing raps, 15, 16, 17?
I mean, probably messing about with it, like, around 13, 14. Like, kind of just having jokes, like, when you're just, like, getting stoned with your mates, you just...
And who are you looking up to? Because I'm guessing at that stage you're rapping because you're like, we're getting stoned and we're watching the Beastie Boys. Or who are you watching?
I mean, like, so KRS-One was when I was 12... When I was 13, my mum asked my cousin what to get us for my birthday, and he was like, I'll get him KRS-One self-titled. Yeah. Like, so that was like probably my first introduction to like real rap music, to like proper hip hop, like. Yep. And and then obviously there was a lot of graffiti references to that, so then that kind of tied back into that phase. So I remember starting to like mess about with freestyling and writing bars probably around that era, like around the age of 13, 14. But yeah, like I say, there wasn't much opportunity to do it in Leeds. Like, it wasn't like it is today, where you've got like all of these youth centres and places. Like none of my mates had recording equipment or anything that like we could like no one could afford like a Mac computer or whatever, like to be able to like get your
even turntables are really expensive.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like when I was like 15, 16, one of my mates got some decks, and then it was just like, right, cool, everyone at his house, and we'd be recording little tapes on his thing like through. But it wasn't until like 17, 18, and we first went studio and recorded something properly, because I think Disgust, his dad bought us studio time for his birthday, I think.
That's
and we
cool.
recorded so we recorded a song a song down in Kirkstall in Leeds at some studios. Like that was MySpace days, so we kind of like put it straight up, and it started drumming like a load of interest. So we kind of just was like, this is probably worth doing, you know.
That's as the collective.
Yeah, that was as Defenders of Style. And like, because it was just always something we did as to pass the time. It was never, like I say, like, so the influences were very much like, at this point, it's very much like, like I say, about £10 bag era. You know what I mean? Like, Jess, Chester P, these guys, like, rapping about English life. And then we're tuning into the Leeds scene as well. So there's like, like the generation above us will have been like 9 Lives, rappers like, Double D Dagger, Ella Fino dropped a really good album out of Phase that was like, these were like kind of the artists that were like just a little bit before us and showing like, this is what being a Leeds rapper's like, you know what I mean? And like, Was it important to represent where you're from, do you think? Well, I think like, hard. I think like what we realized very early on was like, we've got a very specific sound because we're Northern, because we're from Leeds. Like in England, everybody's got a different accent, you know what I mean? Like it's crazy, like 20 k's away, they can sound totally different. Hard, completely. Like you go to Manchester, which is like 45-minute drive, you know what I mean? It's like driving from it's crazy, isn't it? From Sunshine out to like, to Frankston or something, and the accent is completely different, you know what I mean? So it's like, so straight away it's like, if you sound yourself, and there's like, there's, I don't know, 30 other people who are actually like active in this scene, like making the style of music that we're doing, and like, as long as I sound different to these 30 people, then I sound different to everyone in the world, you know what I mean? So it's like instantly, and that was what it was all about back then. Like to this day, it's still something that I pride myself on, but it doesn't seem as important as this new generation. You know, it's kind of like, it was very much like when you were painting and when you were making music, originality was key. Like you have to have your own style, your own flow. Like style is what it's all about, you know. It's about having your own way of doing it, your own fingerprint on it, and like even the name, the Defenders of Style, sounds like you took the style aspect of it pretty seriously. Well, I think that was also a Task Force song, so it was it was like I think we had some really corny names to start with, like 6 syllables or something like that, and then was like man, like we'll call it Double S, and then was like okay, that's DS. And then it was like, turned into Defenders of Style. But this was all before we'd ever put any music out. So Defenders of Style was when we did Thoughts of a Nameless, which will be, I don't know, probably 15, 16 years ago now. Yeah, man, that was under Defenders of Style, and it just kind of stuck as that for.
So once you get your first recordings, you put them on MySpace. Then people start to interact with them. People can share that stuff.
Yeah,
you start to get a bit of a kick out of that, and it makes you feel like you're doing something.
Well, I think for me it was the anxiety of like, I could be fucking terrible at this. You know, like that's kind of like when people start showing you when you're like 17, 18, you're like, you know, you're having little freestyles with your mates, but anyone outside of that little group, if they want to hear you rap, you're like, be mad embarrassed. Like, no, I'm not doing that, man. Like, you know, it's like, you're just going to take the piss. So I think like having that actually work and then be like, oh shit, like, okay, we might actually be onto something here, you know? And man, so we just started writing, and Jack Dance had started getting heavily into production at this point. And
production equipment, I guess, becomes a lot more like the computers you can do a lot more with, so that makes it easier to record.
Yeah. Well, I think one of my mates had a Mac at this point, and then his dad, who was a graphic designer, kind of gave him his old Mac. So then Jack inherited like this Mac from my mate, and got Reason, I think, and started making his own beats. I might have fully butchered that story. It could be completely different, but that's the way I remember it. Yeah. Like computers come into it, and he started making his own beats and his own sound. And so Thoughts of a Nameless was mainly Jack Dan's production, I think, if not all. And man, and then it was kind of like from then like we paid for studio time to get that one done. Like we went to a lad called Mike D, who ran Subterraneous Studios. He recorded loads of people in Leeds coming up. So yeah, man, we recorded that with him. And then Jack was kind of like, look, man, let's get our own microphone, let's get our own sound card, like let's be able to do all this in-house.
Yeah.
And so then from then on, it was man, we just recorded everything like in Jack's bedroom, basically, you know, like
and graffiti sort of is still there, but it's not. The focus is music at this point.
Nah, graffiti's gotten wild at this point, like around like 17, 18.
Oh, so tell us about that. So that's
yeah. I mean, it's just very, very active. You know, just like they were my active years
within Leeds, or you're venturing out to other cities.
Yeah, I mean, no, mainly within Leeds. But like, just it's kind of like a lot of my mates that like outside, like, again, it's got to that point where like everyone's hitting 18, 19, so it's you have your own freedom now. Like you have people with cars and like, you know, so it was just really active, and a lot of heat came with it as well. There was like a lot of like big. There was like a big campaign for Name That Tag, where like they were offering like 500 quid just for like
someone to dob you in.
Oh yeah, we all got grassed in hard, but it was daft because like you just by then you just like if it's you just no comment, don't you? Like as soon as you see the posters, you're like, well,
but someone's out for cash there.
Yeah, but it was like you're not going to be able to get anything out of it. I think like they arrested. I've got it wrote down somewhere because I got this little black book with like with the posters in, and it's like, and then the newspaper wrote a big thing about it because everyone got raided in one weekend, and like and it was basically just like
yourself included.
Yeah, and like. Yeah, it was mainly just like a lot of people all writing in the same crews.
So when they hit, they all come in the same sort of time. They go through your room. They take all your markers, your pens, your paint, photos. They take everything.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing there because they put these posters up. So you're like, oh, I'm going to get a door knock soon, you know. So there's nothing in the house, but like they found one. They found one sketch in mine, and I was telling everyone like, you know what I mean. I was like, okay, you know, take everything with you, like don't leave it. And they found one of the sketches. They were like, we got him this morning. That's your boy so and so, isn't it? It was like, oh, for God's sake, man. Like, I told him, a little bastard. But like I say, it's like by this point we're kind of well versed on it. You know, it's like look, it's a criminal damage charge. Like if there's not someone physically seen you do it, and there's not CCTV evidence of you doing it, then there is no evidence of you. It's like it's just there's no way of proving it. You just no comment, don't you? And it was like
I think so. That's the same for a lot of kids all around the world. But they rely on these people to not be very well versed in the criminal system, and they go, well, like we've got you, and you're like, when it happens to kids that have parents who are solicitors or whatever, they get off because they go, what evidence do you have?
Yeah, well, it's this really hard medium, and they know like I remember growing up like this, and it was very much just like. To not say anything that's going to incriminate yourself, but also like not look suspicious. And it's this really like horrible tightrope that they make like a 14-year-old walk, you know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, sorry, I've been told not to talk to the police about an adult present, you know what I mean? But then it's like, oh, why? Have you got something to hide? And suddenly now it's like, well, if you're not wanting to talk to us, then we're going to find a reason, you know? And like back in those days, it was like they'd just say, oh, burglary's in the area, or someone matching your description has committed a crime, or something along those lines, you know what I mean? And then they'd just make up a bullshit thing like to search you or whatever if you weren't cooperative.
Yeah.
So it was kind of hard, it was a fine line to walk. But yeah, as soon as they've read you your rights, then you just know, like, okay, cool, well, I just don't say anything from now on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I think like so they knocked on, like, I don't know. Yeah, took off like 35 doors, and I think there was just one lad who fell for it and just was like, oh, and just spoke, and then everyone else got let off.
That's all it takes, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, but it was like yeah, so probably, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see on how many people grassed on someone through those name tag posters and how much they actually paid out. Because it was like you had to be convicted to get paid out, you know what I mean? So it was like, yeah, you're kind of relying on someone being... but yeah.
Was within the community, other people who were sort of teenagers and early adults, was graffiti a cool thing? Was it respected?
No. It was so... Like, literally, I remember, it's like this geeky, weird little thing that you and 13 other people are into and no one else understands. Like, I remember scratching my name on a bus and literally all the like bad boys like, oh, shut the fuck up, man. The fuck you doing? That's well annoying, shut up. You know, it's like there was no fucking cool element to it at all. It was like some weird little geeky thing that like, yeah. It wasn't until like Instagram basically when it was like, oh, this looks cool visually, like this is now something. I mean, that's when I saw the change. That's when I saw like people like adopting it into what they wanted as their persona or their image, like, because it was, and it wasn't something that you ever spoke about or talked about. It was like
super interesting. Yeah. It's like, I don't know, growing up in Melbourne, people that were writers at parties were kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like, that was a cool thing to do. People would be like, have a cool persona based around being a writer.
Yeah.
It sounds like in a lot of other cities that definitely wasn't the case.
Yeah. Well, it was just like it just wasn't popular, you know. It was like, I mean, like Melbourne popped off at like literally straight after New York, didn't it? I mean, I think I heard one rumor. Like, it'll be interesting if anyone knows this, because like this is just something that I've been saying from now on because it sounds cool. So yeah, so someone come up in the comments and tell me if I'm right on this. But I heard that the first whole car outside of New York was painted in Melbourne. Like, which sounds believable because I know that they were going off at those times. So it's like, so yeah, tell me if that's factually accurate. But yeah, man. Yeah, so it's like, so literally we're talking like late 80s for the start, and like, so Ince, I listened to on a podcast, on an F24 podcast, and so he was like, what influenced us, and he's talking about who was before him, and he was like, nah, there wasn't anyone. There was soon TPN, who's, he's like, yeah, a Don, absolute Don. He's like Transpennine Nomads, which is kind of, Pennines are the mountains in between, like large hills, in between Manchester and Leeds. And like, so yeah, they were like based around like those areas, and yeah, and Soon's just been active for he's a proper big king up in the north. But yeah, I mean, like Insta was like, with the exception of him, he doesn't remember anyone writing at all around those times. So then it was kind of like, so realistically, like we're talking, my generation's probably like second or third gen. You know what I mean? Like it's really like, yeah, it won't have like, it was only like mid 90s that it started like popping off in Leeds.
And what about now? Have you been back recently?
Yeah. Hyde Park is battered. So the area that I was brought up in, like, is absolutely like, yeah, man, it's just completely, like, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to see.
And the internet's to attribute to that, do you think?
I don't know. I think, like, yeah, it's definitely, it's more popular. I think that we had 10 years of Tory rule in like the Tories, the Conservative Party, and they just ran the funding into the ground. So it was like, the one good thing they did was they underfunded the police. So then petty crime isn't something that they can take care of anymore. This was a 10-year, like, obviously I've lived out here for 10 years, so I can't comment on it like too much, but I know that, but yeah, there's a massive change in like, in the scene, and like, yeah, like how active people are, and like, yeah, what people can get away with these days compared to back in the day. Seems street sides anyway, you know what I mean? Like,
So from the music standpoint, you're making hip hop, and like you said, there's all different kinds of, you know, UK rap. You've got your grime popping off now. You've got your sort of drum and bass MCing as well.
Yeah.
You've got your garage MCs, but you just decide hip hop is the route that you wanted to go.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, it was very much yeah, man, like culturally, what background? You know what I mean? Like I was in a hip hop background. Like that's like, you know what I mean? I'm painting. I'm hanging out with people who are all into like, yeah, this subculture. Like, yeah, grime was a lot more road. You know what I mean? And then like drum and bass was like, yeah, man, like if you're out at the raves and stuff, like which I did start doing later on, but I was just like, yeah, man, just not.
That was the music that spoke to you more.
Yeah, I like going to raves and getting off my rocker. I didn't want to stand with a microphone. I couldn't think of anything worse. You know what I mean? You make a twat out of yourself, when so yeah.
And the raves are happening proper sort of underground raves in warehouses and that sort of thing, or are they proper executed legally raves?
Yeah, there was a venue called Subdub, which the venue was West Indian Centre in Chapeltown, and a night called Subdub, and that was like you could kind of get in from like a young age. So like from like, I don't know, 16 or something, you kind of like, oh, this is the venue that you go to, you know what I mean? And it's just like dub in one room and then just jungle and drum and bass in another. And then then when dubstep starts coming through, that takes over the small room as well. So we were going there from like 16, 17, you know, and that was very much like, our introduction into like, going out and doing nights and like, yeah, man.
Pills?
Yeah, man, like drugs are really, like, especially where I'm from, it's kind of like it's like Hyde Park and Woodhouse and Little London. They're kind of like they're a mix of like kind of working class area and and a student area. You know what I mean? So there's a big estate on all three of those places, and then it's also rented out to students. So you kind of have that mix of like lots of, you know what I mean, like. Yeah, man, just lads getting by from whatever they're doing, you know, and students. So that kind of makes a real big currency for drug culture in that area. So yeah, man, drugs were a massive problem in my life.
And cheap
growing up. Yeah, hard, really. Like, yeah, if you had to pay for it at all, you know what I mean? Because like you're in a room with like, you know what I mean, a bunch of lads who are all local and you know everyone in it. So it's like if you're not a student, then it's kind of like that party atmosphere of just everyone like, yeah, so it was really bad. I had a real big problem for a long, long time, man. And then, yeah.
Are you happy to talk about that?
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's something I'm pretty open with. Like, yeah, basically like, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like just mental health got the better of me. I went through some dark shit. I lost my mum early on and then like, yeah, kind of, got into like drugs went from something that I was doing like recreationally just because I was like 18, 19 to something that was a full crutch in my life because I didn't really want to wake up in the morning, you know what I mean? It takes being 30 and like doing loads of therapy to look back and realise that was what was going on. Mm-hmm. But it was, it was very much masking my mental health, you know? And that was when I was painting loads and like, luckily I still had like music and painting as a very positive aspect in my life because otherwise it would have been 100% drugs. So, yeah. And then, like 25, 26, I just had a really bad episode of drug-induced psychosis and like just lost my mind like completely, like had like, really, really shitty experience. So that was the first time I tried to not do drugs. Obviously, never works the first time, relapsed a couple of times. Had a second episode. And then after that would have been like, I don't know, just before I came out to Australia, well, like a year or so before, so probably around 26. And yeah, man. And then from then I just was like, okay, cool. I can't fuck about with this anymore. And yeah, just been teetotal since. Well, I drink like a fish, but I haven't touched anything.
I guess
in the last decade.
With that first trying of getting off the substances, it's hard because if you're going to surround yourself with the same crew, not to say that they're all doing the same thing, but if you don't change your environment, it's going to be harder to make changes.
Yeah, well, I mean, basically, I was really bad on ket, and the doctor was like, "Right, you can't do ket anymore." And I was like, "All right, cocaine," you know. It was like, so
it's
then,
all
but
cheap anyway.
Yeah. So I just like switched for drug of choice, like that was going to make a difference, you know what I mean? And man, and it was like, I mean, literally, it's one of the worst experiences you can have in the world. Like for anyone who's ever had to go through an episode of psychosis, it's like. You wouldn't wish it on your worst enemy, and like, and people like they turn around now, like, you know, you're at a party or something, or someone will offer you a line, and you're like, nah, man, I don't do drugs. And I'm like, oh, fucking well done, like that must be really hard. And it's like, no, man, like if you've dealt with psychosis, it's a really easy situation. Like if you're like, that could make me feel really confident and give me a buzz for the next half hour. It could also give me a complete mental breakdown, and like I would not want to ever go through.
And like, that doesn't weigh again, man. The fun
hard. It's horrible. It's like 2.5, and it's as real to you as like me talking to you on this table in front of us. It's like, and you go through like, it's so like, it's such like a such a horrible like experience to go through, and like
does trying to understand the psychosis side of it, is that because lack of sleep, your mind doing things, or is it reaching into something that might be there as far as some mental illness in the back of your...
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Sorry, I'm just trying to...
Yeah, I feel it's probably a cocktail of everything. Right, you know, I feel that it was like, it was a chemical imbalance is what it was described as. Lack of sleep is always like, that's how your brain resets and sorts itself out. So if you're partying all the time and you're not taking care of yourself, and you know what I mean, then it's going to happen. And then, like I say, I haven't really had any of these conversations about mental health with my dad's side of the family, and my mum had passed away. So it's like it was kind of like it was only like later on that I got to like find out about mental health within my family or whatever. So it's probably a cocktail of everything, really, like all thrown into one thing.
And I guess not having your dad there in the early days plays on a bit of childhood trauma as well, potentially, which, you know what I mean?
I wouldn't necessarily say like traumatic. I think like it probably opened me up to like I kind of idolized like what I assumed was a big man. Like what do I have to do to be a man in this world? You know what I mean? So I'm looking at all these naughty little chavas getting into like badness, you know, and it's like, to me, like, you know what I mean? Like they're masculine. They'll have a fight with whoever and they'll do whatever, and they don't care what police say. They don't care what anyone thinks. To me, I'm idolizing these people who are actually really troubled and like probably going through like so many of their own things that are driving them down this negative lifestyle. But I'm looking at it like that's what a man is, you know what I mean? Because I haven't got that role model around me, you know? I mean, like later on, like that's why I think like things like hip hop do save you in these things, because it's like, because then through that I'll start meeting, you know what I mean? Like other rappers, like male rappers from Leeds who've like similar background, same area, from like, you know, 10 years on from me, you know what I mean? And like on what they're doing and what they're creating. Like there was again, like towards our late teens, like people like Tony Green and Shane, like they were like the promoters, and they'd really put like start putting us on gigs, and like we'd help run the gigs with them. I'd really, you know what I mean? Like show us this kind of like this positive way of like, this is how you can make money out of your art form, and and where you can go with it. So I think it's like, you know, like we find those role models through these art forms, and that's why I think like they're so important to people, you know what I mean? Not only, and then also like with the whole thing that we were just talking on, like again, it's like it gives you a break from that. It's the only thing that like you have when you're going down negative paths or whatever. Like even though some people will think graffiti is a negative thing, like to me it's not. To me it's something like it's like the people that I've seen it save, compared to, you know what I mean, like compared to your wall that got tagged. Like it's like, to me it's like it's not even in the same radius. So it's like, yeah, man, like it gives you something to concentrate on when life isn't great, you know what I mean? Like something gives you a purpose, a reason to wake up in the morning, and then music has just always been like a massive therapy, you know. So I think it's like
people that spend their life worrying about other people's property being damaged with graffiti are people that have no real trouble or anything in their life. If that's your biggest problem, that you hate graffiti because it damages someone else's property, man, obviously you've got a pretty easy life.
And I think it's really subjective, and like picking, like realistically, if you follow like graffiti for the most part follows the rules of like it puts a word on things that as a society we've already said words are okay to go there, you know, like we've decided through means of advertising and means of representing companies and stuff, like we've decided like, oh yeah man, sides of trains is where we want to advertise, or insides of trains is where we'll put adverts up, like sides of motorways is where we'll put big billboards. Like we've decided like these places in our society are acceptable for words to be wrote, you know, but then it's just like, oh no, but you have to have permission and pay X amount, and it has to be like this, like in this advertising world, in order for it to be okay. Because if you just do it off your own back, then that's really bad, and that's like the complete opposite of it. You know, it's like it doesn't make any sense. It's like it just doesn't like you just.
It is. It's very contradictory, and it really comes across as long as you pay and then the government gets their tax, then it's okay to do that. But if you just want to do it on your own device, then it's extremely bad, and you shouldn't be doing it. And you're a fucking skid mark on society. That's what they sort of say, you know.
Yeah, hard. It's definitely it's definitely one of those ones that's frowned upon. But I think again that's changing. That was how it was when I was growing up. You know, it was very much like like it was just a shit thing that little scumbag kids did, you know what I mean? And it wasn't really looked at with any artistic merit or anything, like You know, like we're talking like pre-Banksy book here, you know, so no one's had it explained to them yet. I remember my mum coming in with like one of the first Banksy books, like, and it was like, you know, one of the little small black ones. And like, and she was an anarchist back in her day, you know what I mean? Like she did like big protests and stuff and like was really involved in like feminist movements and like gay rights and all of these like really, you know what I mean? Like, so she read this little Banksy book and was like, and like, obviously it's always like anarchistic reasoning for why graffiti's done. And like, she's asking this little 13, 14-year-old kid, she's like, is this why you're doing it? And I'm like, yeah, what he said. You know, it's like, I don't know why I'm just doing it because it gives me sense of meaning, it gives me purpose. But
the Banksy sort of era of popularity, I guess, like mid-2000s, that's when it sort of happens, is kind of a negative and a positive to the graph movement because all of a sudden, people that don't understand graffiti have somebody to kind of align it to.
Yeah.
But then the negative is that people go, well, it should be like Banksy. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of gets, people understand it a little bit more, but then it's like, all right, well, I like that Banksy stuff, but I don't like these tags. And it kind of...
Yeah. I mean, like, look, it's like, it's one of those, it's like everyone's entitled to their opinion, but like, what does your opinion mean? You know, like it's like if you have no idea on the art form or no, like it's like I can give you my opinion on golf, you know, but why would you give a fuck about my opinion on golf? Because it's like I don't know anything about golf. I've never even hit a ball, you know. So it's like it's kind of like exactly. It's like so it's one of those, isn't it? It's like you kind of like It's like man, have your opinion and that's cool and that's it. And like I'm not gonna jump on a hate and Banksy bandwagon. Like he explained graffiti to my mum and she'd help clear my house out before it was getting raided. You know what I mean? After that she'd be like, okay, it's us versus system. Yeah. And she'd like like
I don't think I don't hate on Banksy either, but I dislike the way that people treat him differently to anyone else, which is just not cool. And the way that they preserve his pieces and he has some sort of that is just fucking whack,
but it's the same it's just like one level up from a hypocrisy of like of advertising to tagging argument, you know what I mean? It's just like it's just one stage up because this guy is actively going out and breaking the law and has built his whole career off doing that, man. But like man, like I don't know, he's still really political with it and he still like brings attention to the right things and like man, like obviously it's not my type of art. Like I'd much rather see like nice clean throwies or something, you know, than like
even messy ones.
Yeah. But like man, it's one of those. It's like man, like as far as like most things go, like I'd choose that over some advertising or whatever. It's like it's not too far down on my list. So man, I'm not one of those. It's like
so back on your journey, the drugs are a thing, but you're making music. You're going through some stuff, your mum passes, you're going deep into the drugs, deep into the graph, deep into the music, but you realise that you're going down a pretty destructive path and you've got to stop?
Yeah, I mean, like, it was more... it wasn't more that I ever realised. It was more like I just found myself, like, sober one day, and was kind of like, you know, like, okay, cool. Like, I need to try something else.
But you're surrounded by this though, so it doesn't seem abnormal.
This is what life is in Hyde Park. You know, like this is like and it's always been that way. So it's like it wasn't any just again, like not even necessarily Hyde Park. Like for my generation, young like teenagers. Like Friday night, you go out and you get drunk. You know what I mean? Like there's a very big like get drunk and off your head like culture in England, and that's like from the age of a teenager, like every Friday that's what you'll all do. You'll all go out and your mate who's got a beard will go and get you like bottles of Lambrini and like whatever cheap liquor they've got to like, you know, White Lightning cider or whatever. So there's just like this culture of just getting fucked up that's like just extremely normalized, like to this day even, like, you know, it's like it just is what it is. So it was like kind of like once I sobered up, I was like, man, I should probably try something different, you know what I mean? And I'd done a bit of traveling and kind of was like Melbourne always resonated, you know, like I was. So yeah, man. So yeah, kind of like.
You knew no one here?
No. So I'd come out here, probably just after my episode, man. I'd come out here with my mate Lego, who we were talking about before, with the rhyme schemes, and a couple of mates, Birdie and Langham. And had a few friends living out here, a few friends over from Leeds, that were out in Melbourne. And yeah, man, it was kind of like we went to, I don't know, where did we go? We went Cairns, Sydney, Melbourne, But Melbourne was the only place where we knew people. So as soon as you start chilling with people who are actually from the city, like, you know what I mean? Like, you kind of like, I mean, you go Sydney and you get your Harbour Bridge photo and like Bondi Beach, and then you're like, what do I do? You know what I mean? Whereas, yeah, when I came down here, all my mates were like, you know, I ring them up and I'm like, oh, we're in the CBD. They were like, man, there's fuck all going on in the CBD. Come out here, you know what I mean? And then I kind of met them up in Brunswick, got some $9 jugs at the Railway Hotel, and then just didn't leave.
But, it felt like home?
Yeah. No, hard, man. Hard. Yeah, we stayed for like, I was meant to stay for a week and ended up staying for like 2 or 3 weeks. We did, I remember going to Let Them Eat Cake on New Year's Day.
Werribee Mansion.
Yeah. It was good, man. It was good. And man, I then kind of went back home and was there for like a week or two, and I had to find a new house and get a, new job, and it was like for the same price as like first month's rent and a deposit, I can get a one-way flight over to Australia and a visa. So I was like, right, I just rang up my mate and was like, how can I stay on your couch until I get a job? And just kind of, just moved over here and didn't look back,
Yeah. Well, and look, it seems like getting out of the environment is also going to be, like, not to say that there isn't trouble here that you can find, but getting out of that environment is definitely going to be an easy way for you not to slip back into old habits.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, I'm a stubborn bugger, so it was very much like when I was like, oh, I'm not going to do that anymore. Like, I didn't. And again, like I say, like, it's an easy choice to make when you see, like, when you can remember like little bits of what happened to you the first time. So it was man. So it wasn't too much, like, it was more just change of scenery and like kind of realizing it's like, okay, cool now, because I suppose a lot of it was like, like depression, not really having much of anything going for me except for music and painting, and there's no way of turning that into anything in the UK. Like there's not the same opportunity. Like all of my mates are musicians and stuff, and it's all something you have to do on the side. You know what I mean? Like it's something that you have to work anotar job. And then
the industry's not big enough.
I mean, well,
opportunities aren't there.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm not talking like I'm not talking like. I mean, I'm sure if you're famous, it's different. You know what I mean?
You've
like,
got to get to that level.
But I think but that's it though, isn't it? It's like it's not like being famous is being famous, and it's like it's not necessarily anything to do with being a musician. It's like it's fame that's paying you. It's fame that's making everyone go like like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like it's a different thing, and you can be famous because you're a musician, but it's like and that's what pays you because you're famous, because like you're a brand that people can get behind and you're marketable, really, innit? So it's but yeah, as far as like being a musician, like most musicians are broke, you know what I mean? Like hard. I was doing a workshop in the prisons and was like, and one of the lads was like, I was like, man, you got some bars, and he was like, I can get out and then I won't have to nick cars anymore. I can just I can buy me an X5, and I was like, oh yeah, from rapping. I was like, right, go on, have a look out into that car park, choose the shittest car in the car park. And literally, they picked out my fucking little Mazda number that I bought for like $1,500 like 4 years ago, all battered up. Was like, that one easy. I'm like, that's the car of a rapper, that's the only musician in this parking lot that's like, and that's the car he drives. So it's like, man, I think it's like it's a hard grind. Self-employed creative in any industry is hard as, and in the UK it's just not viable. Like it's just something that you can't do. And like out here, there's opportunities. Like I do a lot of youth work. I run an organisation called Artist Support Network, and we do we do a lot of support work mainly like through the NDIS, and kind of work with rappers and graffiti writers and people that need like a little bit of help and support, and and we like support them doing everything that a normal support worker would do. But then on top of that, if you want to make some music or you want to do some painting, then we can do that as well. You know what I mean? So it's kind of there's just opportunities to create a viable living off being a creative in Australia, and you don't have that back in England. You know what I mean? So man, I think having opportunity. I'm
sure you did, but there would be, but it's just few and far between, and the population there with more people wanting to do it, I think it'd be different. Or do you think that the system here just works better?
Yeah, I mean, look, Jack Dance is one of the most talented artists in Leeds, in the north of the UK, in my opinion, and he's recently become self-employed. You know what I mean? And he's he's got a house career which flies him over to Mexico. He's got he's producing for Blur and High Focus, and you know what I mean? And he's working in studios every day recording people. You know what I mean? And there's months where he struggles. You know what I mean? And I'm like, if my man's struggling some months, and he's literally one of the best, in my then, you know what I mean? It's and he's doing bits that are well above like where I'm at, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, man, I think it's a really, really hard industry. It's a really hard, like, yeah, again, like, thanks to the Tories, you know, like, along with running down the, like, yeah, like, just anything, basically, like, anything that was, like, yeah, like, yeah, all the youth workshops, like, those opportunities, which is how lots of people get their hustle by, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it was, like, any extracurricular stuff, like, you just, like, yeah, we just ran it all into the ground, man. Like, it's not an easy place to get by in at all.
Yeah.
No.
So when you land here, you do your little travel, Cairns, Sydney, whatever. You're in Melbourne. You're like, okay, do you have a plan? You're just gonna be here?
No plan at all. No plan at all. It was just like, yeah, I just needed something in it. So man, just kind of moved out here. I'm working at a shitty call center, and yeah, man. And then I put up I think I just put up a post and was like, oh man, no, that's a lie. When I came up the first time, I linked up with Able 8 because Lego was signed to a group in York, Boom Bap Recordings maybe, and Able had done a load of recording with them. So yeah, like Lego kind of hooked us up with Able, and yeah, and I remember Able saying that he worked in the prisons, doing youth work. But yeah, so I come out and I do a little bit of recording with Able, and that's how I meet Sinks, and then yeah, a year or so down the line, then Able would be like, "Oh, do you want to do some youth work in the prison?" So that's how I get into the youth work. And yeah, man.
Had you got qualifications and stuff from back home?
No, I'd just done a lot of it. Like that was kind of like I'd done a lot of volunteering. There was a youth centre that came up like later, like when we were like 15, 16, and like basically like we were the little naughty chavas all kicking about on the field over there, just getting into nothing but trouble. And the police had gone over to the youth centre like round the corner and been like, "Look, if you don't do something with these kids, then we're gonna," you know what I mean? And was like, yeah. So then they kind of came over and was like, "What are you into?" You know what I mean? And we're like, "Graffiti." And then they were like, "All right, cool." And they got a guy, Ollie, to come and do some graffiti workshops with us. So then when I was later on in life, when I was like 18, 19, I went and volunteered back there. So then, and then off the back of that, then I got like a little bit of paid work here and there just when it came up, opportunity. Yeah. So I'd got like a lot of experience, not a lot, but I'd got experience in that field. And yeah, man. And I'd done like a little bit of work in a prison before. Yeah, man. So yeah, just started working in Parkville and Malmesbury and doing music workshops.
Like the juvenile.
Yeah, that's the juvie down in
near the zoo there.
Yeah. In Parkville. Yeah, man. So I've been doing that for like 10 years now.
And most kids in those sort of things they're obviously repeat offenders. They've done things a lot to get into that stage.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't ask. You know what I mean? Like,
so they're just there and you just help them.
Yeah, it's one of those where it's like it's easier for me not to know. You know what I mean? Because there's things that I can give passes on. There's things where I'm like, where I'd see a very moral problem with that. You know what I mean? Like, so it's easier for me not to know because then I don't treat anyone different for what they're in for or whatever. And yeah, I don't have a reason to know. I just go in and do music. You know what I mean? Like, as long as they kind of like the programs team will decide which unit to put me in on. You know what I mean? I mean, I'll just go in with a DJ controller and we'll just do some recording, do some mixing, mainly just listen to loads of King Von tracks and play 13. You know, like it's a chill job and it's good fun.
So are these kids showing interest in music? I guess they're not just throwing you in with everybody. These are kids that have actually asked to I want to be part of a music program.
A little bit. We try and find that. They've got a really good like Parkville College, like Mus Volkov works there, and like, you know what I mean. It's kind of like they've got like a really good like recording facility and stuff there. So we used to do a lot of recording. The college kind of upped their game, and and I'm not really a producer, so it's like some of the other people like that I work with like will concentrate a lot more on like recording them and like finding the people who really want to like record music or like if we do find someone that really wants to DJ, then we'll take the kit in. But yeah, like I say, a lot of it is just just go in and like I'll go in with all the equipment and kind of it's more just like I like just giving them an option because like they've had every option took away from them. Like they don't get to choose when they eat, when they wake up, what they do. You know what I mean? Like everything is controlled to them. So just giving them a laptop and saying like, "Yo, what song do you want to listen to?" That's probably like. That's one of the only chances they'll get all week for like however long, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's kind of yeah, man. I like it. Just kind of do whatever they want, you know what I mean? Like if they want it, like there's no like procedure on it. And if we do find someone who specifically wants to do something, then we'll cater to that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, man, just
point them in the right direction.
Yeah, man.
So then you start doing that. Are you still in the temptations for substances here in Australia as well?
No. It's yeah, man. It's very much like that's right. I mean, like, yeah, man. Like it's like it's not something that's ever really come back. You know, like I haven't like, you know, yeah, man. I don't think those days are just nice and behind us now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's
good. Yeah, plus also the amount of fucking hell, how much you pay for stuff out here? Are you daft? Like, it's mad. It's like
crazy,
literally, man. It's insane. I sat there and you're like, how much? You know, it's like, wow. Yeah, like I get annoyed having to pay like $50 to get an Uber home. It's like, man, like there's no way I'm spending that type of money. Yeah. So, alright, man. Yeah.
But so when you land here, you start working, and then music and art as well. You start to meet other people that are doing that sort of stuff.
Yeah, man. So again, I do. I mean, literally, I just put out a thing on Facebook and was like, "Oh, I'm in Melbourne. Who should I work with?" And Musty's name came up like 3 or 4 times because a lot of like the Defenders of Style fans, like when we were doing DS stuff, there was a lot of like. Well, what I thought was a lot because I didn't realize how big Australia was. But we'd always have like a good handful of names, like with like .com.au on the end of our email address. Or like we had like a good following out in Australia. Like so yeah, man. So yeah, the fans that listen to us from Australia kind of like would be recommending that we worked with Musty. Musty's obviously done a lot of work with the people that we'd done shows with back in the UK. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like kind of he'd worked a lot with our peers. So it kind of, it made sense. And what was really serendipitous was a few weeks before Coots had actually gone round and like, I found these rappers from Leeds, have a look at this, and played Musty some Defenders of Style shit, like just when they were all like playing like music to each other. Oh, yeah. And then literally like I hit him up like 2 weeks later and was like, you're safe, man. Like people are saying that I should come check out your beats. Like I'm Joe from Leeds to do this X, Y, and Z. And just went round and started working with Musty a bit. Yeah. And then he introduced me to all the Pang lot.
And it's your home.
Yeah, hard. Yeah, man. Yeah, just carried on making music with them until until this day. You know what I mean? Keeping on doing
the other Defenders of Style dudes kind of a bit not pissed, but a bit like, well, you're taking off, so it's kind of that it's ending back home.
It wasn't really. Yeah, I mean, like it's always kind of been like, when like just work with what we can, because like. Yeah, man, like some of the lads had kids and families and stuff and like couldn't have been as active as and yeah, man, so it was kind of like, it was always like just whoever's active will be working on things. When I moved out here, they did a project called, it's gone. That's really bad. But yeah, man, yeah, they did.
Come to you.
Yeah, they did a project under another name. It's fucking dope as well. What's it called? But yeah,
because they didn't want to continue doing it without you, or you think it was just time to change?
Yeah, for doing shows mainly. For doing shows, it was like they kind of they wanted to be like still be able, like when people are billing as Defenders, which I was like, man, just bill it as Defenders, man. Like if only 2 or 3 of us turn up, like it's still a Defenders gig, you know what I mean? Like it's a crew in it. But yeah, man, yeah, they did. So they did that, so more just for when they were taking bookings and stuff back home, and they could do it underneath their own alias. So yeah, man.
And then, so when you were here, like obviously you've been recording solo stuff back home, but then when you're here, do you feel like you were much more of just like a standalone solo performer?
Well, I think that's just the dynamic of like Pang's just like a, you know what I mean? Like it's just got so many different artists in that it was kind of like Coots was obviously doing a slowed down kind of 80 BPM, like, which like, man, kind of dark. It's a very northern hip hop sound. Like in my opinion, like that's kind of where the sound kind of originated from. Like when I was growing up, I was watching like, you know, like, well, not necessarily northern, but like, just not London. There was like, I mean, like Squid Ninjas and and then all the Sheffield lot, like Trellian, Figment, Sniff, like they were doing it. And then obviously like, Lee Scott and like all the Blah lot. Mm-hmm. Like Blah would then probably coin that sound. Like, I mean, they pioneered it anyway back in the day with with like the Brick Pelican stuff and like really pushed that. And like, and that was kind of what Dan's was influenced by. Like, after our first release, when we started doing Dirty Sterling, like all of our stuff got slowed right down, and like that kind of like dark northern hip hop sound started coming through. So as soon as I hear like Cootsy making that type of stuff, and it's like, yo, let's do a bit of this, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like so yeah, man. So me and Coots worked a lot together. And
that slowed down version is interesting because in that period of time, a lot of music is going faster because it's going more down that grime path, and you're taking it more down the opposite way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, like, I just find it. I think it's harder. It's like as much as it doesn't seem it. You know what I mean? It seems like rapping faster. Rapping faster is harder to perform, and when you're watching the breath work on some of these artists doing what they're doing, yeah, like it's wild. It's wild. But as far as actually writing, like if you're out of place with anything on a slowed down beat, like you have to be in the pocket constantly because it's very, very noticeable if you're not, you know what I mean? Like you have to have it so I find it more challenging to write to slower beats than I do faster beats. I kind of prefer the style more. I mean, again, it's what you brought up with as well, and it's what yeah. So yeah, man, it's kind of like, it's what I've gravitated towards is like if someone was to choose a beat, like if they were to be like, oh, what beat we just in the studio, what BPM shall I work at? I'd go, yeah, around 80. That'd be the choice. But like, yeah, I like doing, like, I've really enjoyed doing like some more 140 stuff and like some speeded up stuff. It's especially performing it live. It's wild. It gets people really energetic and stuff. So it's like, it's good fun. It's good fun.
Yeah, and you can kind of go double time on that anyway of the 80,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Hard. Yeah, man.
So you mentioned the Blah guys, and they came out recently.
Yeah.
As well. So did you know them before that sort of stuff, or just
vaguely? Like Jack had worked with Lee quite a lot, and then we'd done a show in Leeds and like met at a couple of parties and stuff. So yeah, man, like we were on each other's radars, but like it was only until like I don't know, probably like maybe about a year ago or something, and like me and Lee started talking about like what would it look like to do a tour out here and how would that come about. So yeah, man, helped a lot with organising that. Like at first I was just gonna do like just a Melbourne show, and like I put him in touch with my boy D over in New Zealand, and then my other mate had just set up a business. It was Ben who runs Triple Q Sapphire. So yeah, man, and he was like, oh look, I've just kind of opened up this business, so I can't really do it. So then D was like, oh look, if you want to give us a hand with organising like 3 other Australia shows, and kind of coming on the full tour. So yeah, man, I was like, all right, cool, let's do it. And yeah, man, like managed to make that work, which was it was wild. It was so much fun.
The Melbourne show was at Revolver.
Yeah.
Then there was a Sydney show.
Oh yeah, so we started in Perth, and then we did Perth, Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, and then we went to New Zealand, and we did Wellington, Auckland, and Christchurch.
Crazy.
Yeah,
it's a lot more than one Melbourne show.
Yeah, it was. No, we did 2 Melbourne shows as well, actually. 2 sold out Melbourne shows. Yeah, Melbourne. Oh, it's so mint. It's so mint living in a city that just sells like 3 times more than every other city.
It happens, doesn't it?
It's crazy. Like it happened with the Jam Baxter one as well. You know what I mean? It was just like that was a 400 capacity as well, and it just like boom, sold out. You know what I mean? It was like it's good seeing like that, like we've got that scene here. You know what I mean?
For
like
sure.
We've got that.
People will message me, know that I'm somewhat involved, and they'll be like, "Oh man, this gig sold out. Do you reckon we could try and get tickets?" And I'll say, "Look at the line. Look at the tour, right? So you've got Sydney on a Saturday, then you've got Melbourne on a Wednesday, then there's nothing on a Thursday, nothing on a Friday." I'm like, there'll be another show. Just wait a second. You know what I mean?
True.
Because people do that knowing that Melbourne one probably will sell out, and there is depending on
You're
how
giving away
big.
the tricks here, mate. You're giving away the tricks.
I tell people just to chill.
No. It is. Yeah, I mean, like I think like what I'll probably do next time would try and book somewhere like the Corner or something that's like 600, 700 cap and just do it all in one. Because like honestly, man, when you're doing those shows, it's like when you're planning them out and you're doing them on paper, it's like cool. But then when you're four shows in and you're like, I gotta do another one on Sunday, bruv, and like it's like especially like I'm there from bumping, like I mean you've just flown in, so you've been up like all day traveling. You're like you're fucked, man. You go home at like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. Like you maybe have a beer or 2 to sign off at night, and then you wake up again at fucking 7 o'clock to jump on a flight to go somewhere else. By the time that you're doing that one, you're like, rah, I'm so like you're just dead on your feet. It's like you're running on this whole extra energy level that like I mean you have to go on stage and perform, man. Like I remember like Wellington was one of our smaller crowds, and we've literally like I've done like 5 shows, 6 shows in the last like fucking like 7 or 8 days. I'm dead. You know what I mean? I'm so like and I've got to go out and I've got to give these guys. I've got to build the energy up so it can bounce back off. And it's like I'm just stood backstage like slapping myself, jumping up and down. It's like it's so wild, and it's like you forget on like you don't forget. You just it's so much like it's so much work, like just the actual effort that goes into it. Yeah. So I think like I'd much prefer to just do like one massive big show if they were tied onto like if it was tied onto a tour, like then just doing like one big show is a lot easier than doing like man. But yeah, we'll see. Like everyone's different, and like you kind of just got to approach it as it comes.
Here, everything's so far away, city wise. Like you're talking about there, you could just if you could do a tour of England and go, I would drive here, we'll drive here, we'll drive here.
Yeah, man.
People coming from over there, we fly to Melbourne. You got to go 4 hours to Perth. Lose time.
Yeah. Well, that was a mad one. So literally like man, we've done the Perth show, and it's the first show of a tour. Yeah, so this is kind of like the first test, and like
you picked the furthest place to go to.
Yeah. Well, it was all to do with because we needed to end up in Melbourne. You know what I mean? Because we had Melbourne on the Saturday, so it was Perth on a Friday, Melbourne on the Saturday, and then we had to do Melbourne on the Sunday. So it was and like we finished the show, and like Josh is like he's still like like
had they played many
20s.
gigs out of the UK at this stage?
Yeah. No, they're well versed. No,
Josh, not in Australia.
Josh is like just come off tour with I think Danny Brown maybe, I forgot.
Wow.
Man, like they do bits.
But
like
they hadn't been to Australia
active
before,
as. No. We did a show with Josh at the at Grumpy's for the Outlook thing. It was Lee's first time, but yeah, man, like they're seasoned vets, you know what I mean. But still, like Josh is like late 20s, you know what I mean. So he's still in like full party mode. So like I remember like D being like, yo, here's your charger, man. Like, is your phone fully charged? Have you got like, you know what I mean? You got like all of our numbers, and Josh being like, you don't trust me? You don't think I'm making this flight, do you? It's like, no, we do, and like, but yeah, putting money on it was like, is he gonna make it? You know what I mean? And then boom, we get up to hotel 6:30 in the morning, and like, Josh is outside, like fully packed, big zoot in his mouth. Like, where's Lee? He's like, fuck knows. I was like, for fuck's sake, like, go upstairs. Banging on the door, he's not answering. I go downstairs, ring up the hotel room, he's not there. It was like, rah, man, where the fuck's Lee? I was like, I need you to open this door. Finally convinced him to open his hotel room door. He's not there, man. I was like, fuck, man, where the fuck's Lee? Man, I was like, all right, we got to go anyway. And then on our way to the airport, he just rings us and he's like, yeah, man, I woke up with jet lag. I just caught the flight at like early hours of the morning so I can go to bed. Was like mad head. Just like went to the airport and just moved his flight like earlier. I was like, yeah, man, but it was shit. I thought we'd like fucking first night and we've lost fucking fucking headline act. Was like, rah. But yeah, man, no, it was good. It was good fun.
So then you did the Melbourne one, Brisbane as well. A couple in NZ, then back here, and then there was also the dudes from Sydney, Context.
Man, Wise Guy. They the Who Knows lads. Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, again, because at this same time, Baxter's hit us up like, yo, like I want to do some work. I want to tour, and I'm like, I'm kind of like, I'm knee deep in this Blau one at the moment. So
did you know him from back there? Or
again, we'd done work, done a couple of shows together, and and Jack produces for Baxter as well. So we'd done a song called The Craze a little bit earlier, which I dropped on my album Elephants. Man. So it was one of those that he was like, I want to do some work, and like he's also doing tattooing, so he kind of wanted to tie it in with his tattoo work. And Josh and me have been talking anyway. Josh is a Wise Guy, sorry. Yeah, we've been talking about doing tours and whatnot. So I hit him up and was like, oh look, Baxter's asking, do you want us to put you in contact? So they kind of like, so we're both running these ones that are like within a couple of months of each other. So I was like, oh, it kind of makes sense, you know what I mean? Like if I'll jump on the support for your slot, you jump on the support for us, and like, you know what I mean? We'll just like help each other out with these two big tours, you know what I mean? So yeah, man. So it was really good getting to work with those guys as well.
Did you think you'd be getting into tour promoting when you came over here?
It's always been on the back burner. It's always been something that, like, I remember Rui, he was doing a lot of Matt Van Roy. He was doing a lot of the tours when we first got out here. Like we booked, he was doing, I can't even remember who he booked. But yeah, he was doing a lot of tour promotion, and he did some tours with, like, we hit him up to do some Pang stuff. And so I went on tour with him, and I remember like seeing him work and being like, oh shit, like actually thinking about it, like, I've done, because I ran loads of gigs back in the UK. It was kind of like, that was, like I say, that was how our elders, like, that was like, oh, this is like, don't wait for someone to book you. Put on your own shows. You know what I mean? Like, there's, like, what's the point in waiting for promoters to get about it when
DIY
you can literally, you learn twice as much. You'll get the contacts yourself. Like, it's more work, but it's more money and it's more fun. You know what I mean? Like, you get more control over everything. Yeah. You get to choose when the dates are, where you're going. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you get to choose who your support acts are, who your headline's going to be. You know, it's like, it's just more, more into it. So I remember like, talking with him and kind of seeing, this is something that I quite like to do. Yeah, man, it was just kind of working out how all of the logistics and stuff would work, how like,
which
visas
is the hardest part.
Yeah, hard, man. Yeah, like working out like yeah, man, like how it all like gets put together and like contracts and visas and stuff like which I have to give a massive shout out to D because he really flew the flag with that one. You know, like he runs a big festival in New Zealand called Twisted Frequency, which is every New Year's, and yeah, so he's pretty like well versed in what like needs to go down with certain with artists and like getting like people from A to B and like writing out. So yeah, I've learned a lot from working with him. It's good.
In this day and age, man, with everything being so expensive, is it financially viable to do these sort of things? Like, there can't be a whole lot of meat left on the bone when you're moving around city to city, international stuff.
I mean, look, it's just maths, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's just you just gotta work it out so that I try and do it so that like I break even off X amount of tickets and then book an artist that will sell at least double that amount of tickets. You know, like kind of so you. And then obviously like then there's splits and stuff like I mean like it's just working it out with like just sitting down and having conversations with the artists and being like how can we make this viable for both of us. And the thing is like it's like everyone's got a second language. Like it was Rui who told me this, but it turns out that Discourse had told him it. But when you're working especially in creative things, everyone's got a second language. And it's kind of like so money is the one that we all agree on, you know what I mean? It's like okay, cool, get paid. But then behind that like so yeah, man, I think like with like this Blah tour, I really wanted to make connects with like some dons back from the UK and have links with Blah Records, you know what I mean? So like that was an underlying one for us. D really wanted to bring Blah Records out to New Zealand. You know, I think Lee was very interested in making contacts out here, like sorting out some things so that he can like sell records easier out here and like, you know, have good promoters and good tour books and like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like everyone's kind of got like another alternative reason on why they're doing something, you know what I mean? And like as long as you can tap into that as well, then it's like because I'm kind of like realistically like I'm self-employed, so I don't get paid for my holidays. So I was kind of like when I start doing tours, like I'd kind of rather be on tour than on holiday, even though it's like loads of work. It's like I'd rather be traveling around like playing shows than and like and still hopefully tying. I mean, we didn't get to any beaches. That's a fucking lie. It was work. But still, man, like you know what I mean? Like touring about and doing stuff. So, but I mean, even if I was to make a loss on one or something, and it's like I'd still like I'll still get something out of it in the long run. But it's one of those like just don't make a deal that you're gonna make a loss on. Really, you know what I mean? Like book it out. So it's like I mean, like as long as obviously you can't help like something like a COVID or some other promoter booking, like because you're booking them so far in advance, some other big night happening on the same night. There's always like elements that you don't have control over of. But like it's just it's a gamble where you get to make the odds yourself because you get to choose like who you're gonna like, you know, like I can look at what numbers we can do in Melbourne. I can look at what I do is like just put Pang on as a support because I know Pang do over 100 in Perth, Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane. You know what I mean? Like if we play Adelaide, if we play any of those places, I'm comfortable that we can put 100 people in those rooms. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like if I put us on as a support, and then like it's kind of like right, then book someone else who hopefully doubles that number, triples that number, and also makes it worth paying an extra $20-$30 on top. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's kind of like man, it's just it just kind of makes sense, man.
When you're delving into the touring internationals, like those guys can have a following. You just got to hope that equates to ticket sales in the cities, which I guess is something that's unproven. You can look at demographics, you can look at how many followers they got here and there, but that doesn't necessarily translate to fucking patrons in a venue.
No, hard. And I think like that's why it's really important to just stay in your lane and work with artists that, you know what I mean? Like realistically, like High Focus and Blah are like I've worked with those artists back in the UK. I know that like it's similar. Like we have a lot of crossover with our audiences, so I feel comfortable like booking artists from those two labels or similar sounding. You know what I mean? Like that kind of era of that UK hip hop. Like we're talking about. I think it fits very nicely with Pang. You know what I mean? So it's like I mean obviously you got Nelson working with High Focus when he's over there, and like Dan's is working with Blah, so it's kind of like there's lots of like, so you know that it's kind of like our audience, then some, plus like, Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a gamble, but like it's a calculated one. It's a calculated one, and I think yeah, and it paid off. You know, like everybody got paid, and like we made money. So it's yeah, along with having a good experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it worked.
And what's next on the horizon for that sort of tour stuff? Is there anything you can talk about?
Oh, I mean, like yeah, obviously Sammy Bside, who was Baxter's DJ. Like he runs SMB bookings. So yeah, man, like we had chats, and like I'm gonna have a talk with him, see what we can get popping, I reckon. Yeah, man.
He's a busy guy doing his other stuff as well, though.
Hard. Yeah, completely. It's like, yeah, I mean, but I think that's it. It's like this is just something that like yeah, just a little side hustle that's like fun to do, and like that, like I mean, I want to tour and do bits anyway, so it's like why not tie in like these bigger artists? Like I'm not. My ego died a long time ago. I'm not bothered about headlining my own things. In fact, to be honest, I'd kind of rather work with my peers because you learn loads, man. Like, I mean, literally both of those shows were like Josh and Lee and Baxter did an hour and a half plus, you know what I mean? And like, I'm watching that and being like, all right, cool. Now that's like, and watching like how you do it, like how's it like just, and picking up little bits like, all right, cool. It's about like your structure and like, if you're going to do like these hectic songs, to make sure you have like some chilled, slow down ones, or like interludes, and like all these little things that you're just picking up to be like, this is what the next level looks like. How do you build towards that? You know what I mean? It's like, you just learn a lot, man, from working with your peers and working with people who managed to take it to that level a little bit higher than you. So I think it's,
definitely
something that, man.
The Baxter one, man, he does it as a one-man show. Obviously, he's got Sammy on the back, but there's no backups. There's no hype man. It's just him and a microphone, man. It's crazy.
Man. Yeah. And it's like you're thinking like this is his 4 in a row. So it's like those late nights. So it's like literally, it's like those energy levels. Yeah. Like honestly, it's like imagine when you've worked a long shift and then you have to go to work the next day. It's like that, but times 10 because you got like it's crazy. It's mad inspirational. It's really like you're watching these artists work and just as. Like the energy levels that they bring, like the audience won't clock that. Like, oh, this guy was literally like it was jokes because like we'd land in a new city and then and Josh and Lee just go straight to hotel rooms and just like pass out and then turn up for the show and be like bam, and Lee has that one lyric was like looking like I just woke up because I just woke up, and it's literally the fucking truest lyric because he's like. Yeah, man. But the energy levels is you wouldn't have guessed it. You wouldn't have guessed that this guy was asleep on a sofa, just at sound check, fucking 2 hours before the show. Yeah, because he's now crowd surfing and has people going absolutely mental. You know what I mean? It's you just got to be able to switch into game mode basically. And again, it's
Do you take the merch stuff into consideration with those tours as well? Like, is that part of the deal, or is that all the artists still?
Yeah, depends, man. Yeah. Depends. You cut. Yeah, man, you cut different deals with things. I think the merch one's definitely a fair one to take into account. Like we definitely took it into account when we were talking to Lee and Josh and that, because it's one of those where it's we had to have these quick swap over ones where it was I've got big, those massive suitcases, and we fill up one of those for each show, and so Perth. We'd flown back, get to the airport, fly back, we lose 3 hours and it's a 3 hour thing. We land at 4:30. We fly straight to my house, over the west, and literally my boy, big up to Gav and Kath, they picked us up from the airport, flew us straight to my house, dropped in one bag, got the other one, flew it back, and it's so you're having to get all this merch from A to B, and then you have to organize it. We fully underestimated the Blah ones, man. It was man, people went mad for that merchandise, man. It was we reprinted 3 or 4 different times, you know what I mean? It was having pickups in each place, and it was crazy, man. Again, shouts to no one, because it was cool. They hooked us up with a Brisbane gig, and and again, we were man, I don't think this is possible, but we sold out of merch. Can you do as a reprint? And luckily, no one's there, and their screen printing place is here. So they were boom, we'll have it here ready for you. And just when we were sound checking, they were coming hot off the press, literally. And and then they all sold out at the Brisbane show. So it was literally, I didn't even and no one took care of it all. They went and we just moved the boxes upstairs and they packaged it all up, sold it all for us, man. They were cool to work with, man. Awesome. So it was literally, So I mean, it's all yeah, it's all just taken into account. I'd recommend if anyone was looking at doing it, have a chat about the merch stuff as well, because it will be the difference between if you have a shit show and you don't sell enough tickets, still hopefully the amount of people come will still all buy merch, and it will still put you in the break even fucking like slot as long as like you have the right deal set out and the right contracts and all that. And like I say, man, like most artists are keen to work and like work out like good deals. So like they don't want to see anyone like losing money. You know what I mean? So
with your own personal merch, man, you've done some interesting stuff. You did the markers.
Yeah. I kind of got to do a broad apology to anyone who got one of those.
Really?
No. They're cool. But like it was one of those where it was like I took one out and I was like, and then I took it out a second time and was like, and it just leaked on me and I was like, oh fuck, man.
But it's kind of expected.
Yeah, hard. So I was like, oh yeah, look, we can't sell these, must do, you know. It was like, yeah, cool. So we just gave them out as freebies with a thing. But the artwork that went into it, man, that was so dope. Like, yeah, Musty like fully turned like all these graphics into a thing, and then we have a QR code that takes you clean onto the onto the album. And like, and the ink in there is fucking bad boy, like it's Brew Ink. So shout out to Brew Ink because they hooked us up a good deal on it. And yeah, man, it was it was cool. It was just a cool little gimmicky thing to throw with, like, because that's again like that's what Pang always do with one of their releases. You know what I mean? Like Cootsy had his tea towels, and you know what I mean. It's kind of like so I wanted something along those lines, and we chose the markers. But I apologise if I leaked on you. You know,
I think it's part and parcel with markers, man.
Yeah, hard. Hopefully you weren't wearing like a nice top and all.
But that's the thing, man. I think you've got to think outside the square and do cool stuff when it comes to merch or just monetizing your art now. Like that is part of it. The physical record is definitely cool. People want to buy that generally, but you need to do something. Like how many times have T-shirts and hats been done? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you got to think outside the square, and that's cool.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely.
And it leads into your graffiti fucking.
Yeah. Definitely, definitely works. But then the other problem is like I can't sell them at shows, so I'll give them away at shows because it's like you have such a problem where it's like where like you know what I mean, tagging will happen at a venue and then the venue owner will be like, oh, that's your fault. You know what I mean? Like it's like it's not a security issue. Like it's one of those. It's like yeah, man. So obviously, you don't try not to encourage it as much as possible, innit? So so you kind of like stuck with not taking the pens to venues. But yeah.
Man, we might have a quick break. We've done an hour and a half.
Yeah, mad. Yeah, it's good chatting, man. Yeah, same.
All right, man. So we briefly touched on your most recent album, which you dropped 3 months ago. Elephants?
Yeah. So again, like that was tied pretty closely with the tour. I've been working on that probably for like the last 5 years or something, I think. Which is way too long to spend on an album in this day and age where everybody's got 30-second attention spans.
Whatever works for you.
No, hard. I mean, it's one of those where it's music to me is just a labour of love. So it's about just doing it is a part of it. You know what I mean? What happens afterwards and how people take it is kind of up to them. But yeah, so I'd been slowly picking away at that for around about 5 years, me and Musty, and then and then when we were like, right, we're gonna do this tour. Then Musty was like, right, we should probably get the album boxed off and finished because I think I'd done all the recording for it. It was just Musty going through it all and just perfecting it and getting all the sounding right and then mix and mastering it and stuff. So it was kind of right, we'll tie that in to drop just before the tour and stuff. So man, it was great to get it out, man.
Does it change? Like if you're working on one body of work for 5 years. I guess you're trashing a few songs that you're not feeling that you did years ago. There's got to be a lot left behind. Yeah,
completely. And it's and it's more just choosing things that work with it. And and Musty's amazing at that, you know what I mean? He's just got a really good ear for all of that type of stuff. So it's good at building an album that is that works together as an album. It's different. It's not just random pieces of music thrown together. It's it has to sound and suit the vibe and has to
cohesive.
Build weight. Yeah, exactly, man. So it's So yeah, you gotta take your time and do it right. But yeah, no, it was good to finally get it out. Cause I mean, from the second that I started working with Pang and Musty, I really wanted to put out a solo album on wax. Mm-hmm. So it was beauty to kick that goal.
To have that physical thing you can hold in your hands, cool.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, and it was the first time I'd ever done a solo album on wax. We've done a lot of releases and put them out on records, but I'd never done it solo before. So yeah, man, it's kind of Yeah, I mean, I say solo again, Musty helped with all
as a solo artist.
Yeah, completely.
And then so with I guess it's, again the tour stuff, you got to crunch the numbers. How many copies do we press? Where we're going to ship them to? That sort of thing. It's another sort of numbers game, but it's a gamble at the same time as well, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, again, it's more Pang know their numbers anyway, you know, so they can kind of base it loosely off like how many albums do we sell of Nosedive, like how many Fisherman Friends moved, like, all right, cool, we can kind of like gauge it. There's also a lot of Pang's got a really good audience of people that just buy everything that's Pang. Yeah. You know, like there's a few dieharders that like just like boom, it's Pang, it's out on, yeah, exactly. So it's like it's out on wax, I'm buying it. You know what I mean? So it's really good because we all get to share audiences in that perspective. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So yeah, like I say, man, he's all over that type of stuff. He's very, really good professional mind and knows like how to make the right calls and right decisions.
How was that received back home for the Leeds heads?
Yeah, man. I mean, like the wax, like. Yeah, we can't really get back home, you know what I mean? Because it just costs so much to fucking... It costs so much to send it. You know, it's like literally like the postman will make more money than we do. You know, so it's... So people have been asking for wax. Like, I would love to work something out where I can get wax in the hands of people. Because it's a very Leeds-sounding album, you know, like it's very much... it touches on a lot of subjects that we spoke on today, you know what I mean? Like, it's very... Like, I was doing a lot of therapy at the time of like...
Personal therapy for yourself.
Yeah. Like actually going and seeing a therapist and being like, right, okay, cool. It's time to talk through some of this shit. And so at the same time as doing that album for a lot of the songs, like, so a lot of them, I mean, it's not all doom and gloom, you know, there's a lot of like upbeat, like bangers and stuff, but like, it touches on a lot of subjects that are very Leeds based, you know, they're very much based on like on my upbringing and where I was growing up. So,
but you still get some listeners from back there that'll be messaging going, I'm feeling this, man. From
yeah. I mean, like, it's with Spotify and everything. It's like, I mean, that's the one thing. They don't give you money. They'll get you plays. You know, like people will, like, it makes it very accessible for everyone to listen to your music. And we trade that up for money. Like, we don't get paid anymore. But yeah, you get listeners. So it's good. It's good for people like, I mean, no, it's terrible. I fucking hate the way that it's set out. But like, that's a whole different conversation in itself. But yeah, man, it's good that all the crew back home can check the songs out, and like I say, it seems to resonate with a lot of people like growing up in the UK around my age. Yeah, man.
It's cool that you can have that sort of, you've got the Australian audience and then you've got the UK audience as well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that definitely helps with the demographics, you know?
Yeah, hard. Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was like, yeah, it seems like a lot of the songs, a lot of the deeper songs do seem to resonate with people, and they do seem to be like the ones that are kind of harder to put out. Because a lot of my music, I don't touch on subjects. I just like doing like, you know what I mean? Like concentrating on the style, the flow, cadence, entendres, like doing it much more on wordplay and lyrics. So yeah, actually dropping like deep sounding songs and like where you're putting yourself on the line a lot, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's quite anxiety inducing, and you're like, fuck, man, like this is like kind of like me stripped back to the raw elements. It's like,
especially in a solo release.
Yeah. I think, it's nice to do. I think like a lot of music is that for me. You know what I mean? Like I've wrote so many songs over the years that I've literally just wrote for me because I was using it because I was too broke to go to therapy. You know, so it's like,
well,
it's
always expensive. Yeah,
hard. Man.
Do you get subsidized because you're not from here? Do you get subsidized with that sort of stuff? You got the Medicare thing?
Yeah, you get a bit on the Medicare. You know what I mean? It was like,
Are you PR now?
Yeah, I'm PR. So I've applied to go citizenship. I just can't be asked for the exam and everything. But my missus is like, yeah, just get it done. You know what I mean? So
get
it's
it
like,
done, man.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people in the last 12 months that didn't get their PR have just been shipped home?
Yeah, true.
A lot, man.
Because
they haven't got. But like you're obviously, if you got your PR, you're all good.
Yeah.
But I think you know how they keep changing like whatever the skilled workers are. And all that sort of shit? Yeah, they get
man. It's hard, and it's like it's really hard to get from it because it's basically like you have to have been here for 4 or 5 years to apply for PR. But there's only for tourism. There's only 3 years on offer. You know what I mean?
Got to keep getting that other little.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean like there's. I mean, I don't know, it might have changed now, but there's literally not a way, you know, unless if you manage to get a company that's going to sponsor you. It was only sponsorships were the only way that they did it. And obviously, yeah, if you've got a relationship, a partner visa.
But that still doesn't. That's not guaranteed either, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's like my missus is from Sydney, so that's how I've got the right to stay here. But yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know. It's long. I'm so terrible at visas and stuff. Like my missus does it all. So it's like,
you're lucky, man.
Yeah, godsend.
But so many people, especially I spent so much of my life in St Kilda. So many people that are like, I just want to stay here, and they're like, they can't.
Yeah. No, it's deep.
We take it for granted that we are allowed to stay.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, it's mad.
When you music aside, when you got here, obviously, you know, once a graffiti writer, always a graffiti writer. So you're still going to scratch that itch a little bit, maybe not illegally, but did you find the graffiti sort of scene here was something kind of cool. And
it's like, it's wild. It was like, I mean, it's one of the main reasons I moved to Melbourne, you know what I mean? It's because it has one of the best graffiti scenes in the world, like, bar none, you know what I mean? Like it's comparable to, like, some of the hectic bomb cities in Europe. I mean, like, listening to other artists and stuff, like, I was chatting with Baylor and that, and he's like, yeah, man, this is Melbourne after it's been buffed. Like, you should have seen it when you lot were growing up, you know what I mean? It was like, wow. Like, yeah, man, so I think, like, yeah, I mean, I've always just, like, even when I've been traveling and that, I can kind of gauge on how much I'm going to enjoy a city by how much they respect their graffiti culture there. And Melbourne seems to have a lot of time for its graffiti thing. So yeah, it was definitely, I mean, a lot of my mates I met through painting and through, like, through that crossover between painting and music, because there's a beautiful crossover where a lot of artists, like, paint and make music, you know what I mean? So you kind of get to meet people on, like, these complete different levels where it's like, not only can we make music, we can also paint, and then obviously go for beers. So you kind of, yeah, man, it's good. It's good. It was like, yeah.
And there's, so I think the, what's it, Mr. TD.
Yeah.
He does the toy division thing, but he also does those sort of mental health things for graffiti writers, which is really cool as well.
Yeah.
Pushing that whole kind of clean living and graffiti sort of mental health stuff, which is pretty sick.
Yeah, man. Yeah. He's a good mate of mine, and, like, yeah, it's beautiful because, like, yeah, he proper takes it into a passion, and, like, just the amount of, like, interesting conversations we've had about, like, PTSD from getting your yard raided, like, on how much, like, that's just unspoken, because it's like, oh, you do something bad, then obviously 5 guys who hit the gym, like, every single day are going to come in your house, scream at you, throw you up against the wall, tell your girlfriend to fuck off, handcuff you, throw you in the back of a car. You know what I mean? And this is just, like, something that, like, we're trying to act like it's not going to cause trauma. Like, it's not going to be like, I reckon most people, like, who've had that experience, like, if they hear a van pull up outside their house at, like, 2 a.m, you still just wake up, like, alert, and you're like, whoa, what's that? You know, and it's like, oh shit, yeah, that's PTSD from getting your house raided so many times. Like, and it's mad, like, but it's like, because he was saying that it happens to him, and, like, yeah, it's just, yeah, it's a crazy one, man. Like, and he obviously is really in tune with all that type of stuff. So it's like, yeah, just hearing, like, the but then also the benefits of it all as well, and the I mean, like, yes, I won't butcher it, because I'll just be like, oh, he told me this once, and then just say something completely incorrect. But, like, yeah, he takes it. It's good, man. Yeah. So,
yeah, I'm keen to get him back on and have another chat, because he's so passionate about, and again, he's someone who has had his issues with substances, and now he just wants to push people in the right direction.
Yeah.
But understands how much graffiti can mean to people's mental health in a positive way.
Yeah, completely. Well, I mean, like, yeah. Like, well, I mean, it's, tying it back in with work. That's what. Like, yeah, that's kind of what we do with artist support network and the group of people that I work with. It's like, it's very much tied in with the fact that it's like, yeah, if you like, if you're just ticking your basic goals of, like, like, oh, I have to get a shop in, I have to get a walk, I have to go out and walk after, then, like, you'll have a certain standard of living. But then if you're ticking your creative goals as well, then it's so much better for your mental health and being able to actually, like, having a purpose and a sense of meaning, and, you know what I mean? Like, it's, yeah, man.
I think it's really important for everybody to have some kind of small artistic endeavor, as small as it may be, you know, just to sort of trigger that thing in themselves, whether it is making music or whether it's just drawing, like, fucking, you know what I mean? Like, it's
I mean,
important.
for me, it's important. I know lots of people that don't, and they're still, like, completely happy and fine. So it's like, maybe it's not, but for me, it's like, it's something that just couldn't ever be replaced. Like, I kind of don't see the point in anything outside of it. You know, it's like, it's really, like, just completely hyper-fixated on it. Yeah. It's like, this is what my purpose is and why I want to wake up in the morning. Mm-hmm. And anything outside of that is kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, I've never managed to find any enjoyment out of, like, any other type of work that hasn't included, like, music or painting. You know what I mean? It's like, it's the only reason, like, that. Yeah.
And then that's another thing, man. Like, when you were talking about the work within the prison stuff, that sort of art is so, it's a lot of people need it, and in those situations a lot of people have that taken away from them.
Yeah,
I know people that are artists that have been to prison that you can't get paint. Obviously you can't listen to music much either, but you can't get paint, and that's really sort of stripping people back of, like, sort of human rights, isn't it?
Yeah, man.
Especially for your mental health.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah. Luckily, they haven't done. They're quite encouraging of it. And
that's what's really cool, though, man. You know,
yeah.
Because that stuff could speak to, like, I know a dude who spent a lot of time in juvenile detention, And his life changed when they brought in dudes with motorbikes, and he realised, fuck, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And that music thing is, I see a similar thing. It could get people right off the wrong track, and they realise music is a viable thing that I can do and a passion I can follow.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, yeah, definitely. It's like, I think, like, offering outs is the only way that you do beat things like that. You know what I mean? Like, is knowing that when you are ready. Because, like, the thing is, it's like, there's no... Like, most people go into prison and come out and their lives are the same as when they went in, you know what I mean? Like, all those reasons that made them take these, like, open these doors and walk down these paths in the first place, they're still completely there. So it's like, yeah. Like
Plus, they've got the felony thing ticked box.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No, I mean,
like
it's
conviction,
hard.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's not. And, like, and obviously, like, yeah, there's lots of, like, you know, like we're going through it now where people are really, like, anti-bail and they want people remanded and, like, rah. You know, it's like, it's a real, like, I don't know. I think we're like, I don't really understand it because I'm sat there looking and I'm like, man, this system doesn't seem to be working. Like, I've been working with this lad since he was yay high and he's now massive. You know what I mean? It's like, there's no way that, like, this is like, what, you're just gonna, we'll let him out and we'll lock him up again and that'll work the 7th time. You know, it's like, what's the end goal here? You know, like, it's like, what, just lock him up so that we don't have to, and then, like, how much that costs the taxpayer and all this stuff. It's like, it doesn't make sense. You know, it's like, it's just a system that doesn't seem to work. And I think that finding people alternative ways of, alternative occupations, you know what I mean? Because again, Mr. TD pointed as this out, like, is an occupation isn't your job. An occupation is how you occupy your time. So most people use it in the sense of my job because most people occupy their time with your job. Yeah. But if all you do is wake up and go painting, your occupation is being a painter. You know what I mean? You're a writer, that's your occupation. And like, yeah, so it's like, it's finding other occupations that people can, like, that people can do that can occupy the time, basically. And and then when they are in a place where they are ready to do it for themselves, you know what I mean? Like, it took me, like, what I started, you know what I mean? Like, from like 12 to 27 or 12 to 26, I was probably like using drugs, you know what I mean? So it's like, it took me however many years that is to like finally be like, okay, cool. Like, I need something different or whatever, you know what I mean? And it's like, and everyone goes through their own journeys at their own pace, at their own time. And just having people there opening up doors and going like, oh, look, like, when you're ready, here's a door you can walk through, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you know what's down that one.
Sorry. No. That's obviously all part of your journey and you probably wouldn't change too much of it. But if you could talk to somebody, I don't know.
Hard.
You would.
I mean, like,
if you could talk to 19-year-old Joe, what would you say?
Yeah, man, hard. I'd explain like all that shit. Like, it's a madness. Like, I mean, 19-year-old Joe wouldn't give a fuck what 30-year-old Joe had to say because he was a dickhead. You know, he was like he was a little bastard.
But you can't. Hindsight's a thing you can't really. And maturity, you can't change.
Yeah, completely. But it's like, man, I don't know. I think it's one of them ones, isn't it? Like, you do, obviously, like, everything that I've done has now led me to this point now where it's like where I take big pride in my youth work and I take big pride in like in my support work, and like I work with people who've had drug-induced psychosis or are still living with like schizophrenia from drug-induced psychosis or whatever, you know what I mean? And it's like, or like I work with like people like who like ADHD or like whatever, or just like have the same issues that like I had growing up, and because I've kind of like, I mean, you can't change anyone. They're going to be the person they're going to be, but what you can do is inform them. You can be like, hey, man, like, yo, what you're doing, I did, and this is how it worked for me. And like, take that information and do what you want with it, but like, yeah, this is how it, like, you know what I mean? This is what it worked out for us. Like, so it's like, definitely, yeah, it gives me passion in the work that I do now, you know? But like, if I had the option of never going through any of it, then I'd probably choose that because it's pretty traumatic, man.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
Pretty fucked up.
It's hard to get that across to the younger kids because you'd be like, I went through all this, I was going the wrong way. And they'll be like, yeah, but you turned out all right now. It's hard to explain to them, yeah, but there was a lot in between me fucking up and getting to that now.
And it's also like, yeah, I'm all right now, you know what I mean? But like, we all like still have fucking, like, yeah, like dark patches that just come in every now and again and are uncontrollable and like, traumatic things that like cost you thousands in therapy to overdo, and it's easy to look at someone and be like, oh cool, man, they look like they're doing good, but like in reality, it's like as soon as you end up like chopping it up with one of your mates and having a beer and being like, yo, so how actually are you? The amount of times that your mates will turn around and be like, fuck man, this, you know what I mean? And it's just like, we're good at putting on fronts, we're good at like acting like everything's okay because we don't want people to bother off us about us, but you know what I mean? Like when you actually strip it back, like is it as clear as it's on the surface, you know?
Yeah, and I guess when you're talking about that sort of English, we just get drunk on the weekends and fucking be fun. So then it is, so realistically, for a male to come out and say, I'm not feeling great, I'm pretty depressed, in England 20 years ago, that was pretty, it wasn't really a thing.
Oh, my days. And like, just even like, just like I didn't even realize anxiety was a thing until I was like 27. Like, I just thought everyone lived like this. Everyone has like this mad, like little, like thing that just flickers up and you're just like, what the fuck is going on with that? You know what I mean? Like, I just thought that was like part of life. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't realize that it was actually like this, this diagnosed thing completely linked with your mental health. And like, yeah, like it's the amount of my friends that like have turned around, like, and like, and again, like all like living certain styles of lives. And then we're all looking at like, like now that neurodiversities are a lot more spoken about and like testing for them is a lot more popular and widespread. It's like, oh shit, yeah, cool. Yeah, that's what was going on. That's why this wasn't working, or that's why I found this part of life difficult or whatever. And like, yeah, man. So I think it's definitely getting better in that aspect. But yeah, definitely for our generation, it was, like kind of suck it up and get on with it. Like it's which sucks, and it obviously causes a lot of substance abuse and depression and mental illness and like all of these negative things that we're now finding it easier to talk about and easier to open up about, and like but it's still going on, it still happens,
but hopefully we're on the trajectory, the right path, that these things are going to be less of an issue because people are talking to them and coming to terms with them, and other younger generation feel like they can talk about it,
yeah, exactly. It seems like working with young people, they seem to be able to talk about what's going on and how they're feeling and how like life is affecting them a lot easier than our generation did. But yeah, man, hopefully that continues.
For sure. Right. I want to, just before we start to wrap it up, I want to ask you, who would you like to see on this show, man? I like asking guests this because it gives me an extra way to push the individuals to come on, because it's a challenge a lot of the time to get these people on.
I wish you'd have asked me that when I came in, so I had like what would be like 2 hours or something, 2 hours to think on it. Yeah, man. Who would I like to hear? I mean, like just generally, like I'd love to hear like Coots and 10th Dan like on a podcast together, just because like when those two like just the way like they bounce off each other, the way they bounce off each other, you know what I mean? Like just the comedic element that those guys bring to any room is just fucking hilarious, you know what I mean? So it's like that'd be really fun to listen to have like to have Buges brothers like both having like on any podcast, like man, it'd be good. Yeah, man.
I'm actually met Adam for the first time at the Jam Baxter show as well. Seems like a good dude, and
man, he's a legend. He's a legend. Yeah, man. Yeah. No, it'd be cool. Yeah, man. I mean, you tick a lot of boxes already. You kind of, you do. Yeah, man. I suppose like Jizzo would be really good. Like where he's at now.
Nah, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah. I mean, fair play. Yeah, we'll leave that one there.
Yeah. That would get us more hate than love, I think.
Yeah. Fair play. Right. But yeah. I don't know. You seem to be doing well already, man. You're ticking a lot of boxes, getting a lot of guests on that but yeah, man. So kind of just more of the same. But I suppose Buges brothers a bit of one. Smurf's always good. Yeah, big up to my boy P Smurf. He's always good. Man. He's got a lot of good history and knowledge on like the scene. Less Melbourne. Even though, to be fair, he's been about the Melbourne scene for quite a lot. But obviously, like he's like Newtowner.
The Melbourne thing is definitely always going to be where the podcast is grounded. Yeah. But once I get the caravan going, man, I'll be going around, talk to people, and just take the same sort of style, but out of Melbourne. So he'll be one of the, when we get it on the road to Sydney for sure.
Yeah. True. Yeah. You're gonna get the caravan up and down. That's
up the Hume Highway if the thing holds on for that far. Hopefully.
Yeah. It's a drive. It's a long drive. But that'll be quality. Big up.
So is there anyone you want to shout out? Anything you want to tell us about what's coming up for yourself? 2024 is not really there's only a month or so left. What's happening in 2025 for Joe Snow? How can people cop the album if it's still available? Where they can see you? How do they find you? All that sort of stuff.
Yeah, man. There's so the album Elephants is still available via Pang. We've got a handful of wax left after the tours, so go sweep that up while you can. Pangproductions.com.au. Yeah, man, it's just Joe Snow and all the social media stuff. I suppose I've just boxed off 2 songs with Ill Format. So Crave and Tamsin P. Yeah, they're over Primitive One beats. In fact, Primitive jumps on one of the songs as well. And then we're going to get Wolsey on the cuts. Cool. So I think, like, yeah, been chatting with them, might press it up.
Wolsey's
maybe just as a little
next week, hopefully.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
hopefully.
Yeah, ideal. Yeah. Ideal. Now, as a legend. Yeah, man. Yeah, so we might press it up as a little A/B side. That'll happen when it happens. I mean, obviously, like, Crave has a shop now. So, like, yeah, down at Harry's Hip Hop. So, yeah, man. Yeah, can just sell vinyl out of that, man. So, yeah, big up Harry's Hip Hop shop. And them lads, we'll get some stuff boxed off. And, yeah, man. Got an album with Jack Dans as well that's in the works. So just a load of stuff. You're just slowly picking away at things and they're ready when they're ready, man. But yeah, I'll definitely have a handful of releases coming out in 2025. Hopefully do a couple more shows. Yeah, just keep it moving, man.
Maybe some more tours with some other internationals.
Yeah,
maybe?
be good, man. We'll see where we're at. See if anyone's name comes up, but like that works and like yeah. But it's definitely something that I'm keen to do, 100%. So, for sure. Yeah, man. All right.
Joe Snow, thanks for coming in, man. I appreciate it. It's been a good chat. We did just almost get to 2 hours, which I feel like is just the right kind of length, personally.
Yeah, nice.
But I appreciate you coming in, man. Thank you.
Nah, much love for having us, man. Big ups.